by the way, mate. I'm driving now, so you better leave, mate.
15 years, and you cannot say me nothing.
I'm not
what
your
you can
mate.
say.
I'm not
That's
your
why
mate.
Yes, that's Trump.
Get out of
That's
here,
how
you
people
fucking
go.
wanker.
Thank you.
Hey, buddy, all the police have left from behind you, mate.
And look, 1,000 people who say you is the wanker. You are the big wanker. Who is the fucking wanker?
Have a swing, mate.
All people say you is the wanker.
That's the worst London accent I've ever heard, mate.
Who you think you are? He's a racist.
I'm English.
Yeah, you are racist. Yeah, you just attack me and say who are fucking here.
If I'd attacked
and I
you,
must
mate,
fuck off to my country.
You'd be lying on the floor bleeding like
off,
a fucking
I lie.
pig.
You
I'm just
talk
an
and
English
shit.
telling
And what we got
you to
you.
piss
And
off.
what you think who you are now.
I'm happy to be
And then people, yeah, you are welcome. And fuck you are. Everyone got you. Fuck you.
Take your hands off me.
You want to fight me? Just put my hands on you.
Your
Because of you. You just fuck my country.
Put my hands on you.
Hello everyone. Hi Danny. Hi Helen. Hi Elaine. Yeah, and I just wanted to give my view on the lunacy that's been going on. I don't know, Danny, if you want to come on and watch my view and maybe comment on it, but I have a view. So I'll put the link in if Danny or anyone else wants to come on and listen to my view and put your opinion forward. But yeah, hi Elaine. So I'll carry on with it and just click the link if you want to come on and have your say. That's not it. Hang on. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Right, so here we go. Play. It is playing, people. It's just
for one individual. But, you know, one of the things that's most interesting in this is the continual provocation of Mr. Chowdhury does not persuade and will not persuade most of us to believe that most Muslims are like Mr. Chowdhury. They are not. Most Muslims in this country are utterly disgusted by him and his actions. And the important thing to remember for non-Muslims is not to be provoked by Mr. Chowdhury, not even when he says, as he did earlier this year, that his £25,000 a year that he gets in benefits from the British state is what he calls jihad seekers allowance. If I may make one point.
Okay.
Mr. Chowdhury was almost certainly better paid than drummer Rigby. That fact is something that we should mull on and I would suggest sort out swiftly.
I don't killing people for disagreeing with me, but neither am I going to support a racist who goes around demonising millions of people.
Douglas Murray, do you think Douglas Murray, let's bring you in now. Sorry, these cartoonists, do you think they were racists?
Could I please come in and correct? You've given goodness knows how much time to this extremist Asghar Bukhari to have his say. Could I please now have my say about this? It's only 24 hours since a dozen people were gunned down in their offices in Paris. It's really rich that Sky News should be giving this platform at this moment
We're
to
giving
this
you your
man
platform, sir. Do give us your view.
But you've also allowed to just smear the people who were murdered so brutally in Paris yesterday. You've just allowed them to smear those people as racist.
Not me.
Charlie Hebdo, let me please finish my point. Charlie Hebdo, you don't know this, like you don't know any of the background of this, Asghar, but Charlie Hebdo is a secularist, far left-wing, anti-racist magazine. It has made a particular delight in recent years, quite rightly, of lampooning and attacking very virulently the far right-wing leader, Marine Le Pen. You say rubbish because you don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, I do.
Let me make the more important point.
Let me make
the more important point on
actual
this.
debate, or are we going to talk about the actual issues here?
The important point on this, which is that this is not to do with the war on terror, as Asghar Bukhari wants to talk about. This is about freedom of speech.
Please let him speak.
More importantly, You have been massively diverted in this program from what has actually happened and why. What is going on at the moment worldwide, and particularly in Europe, is an attempt to shut down any and all criticism of Islam, one religion alone. I'll hold up for a moment. Don't worry, it's not a cartoon of Muhammad. You don't have to get scared. This is the Christmas edition of Private Eye, an image which on the front cover lampoons, and quite rightly, quite amusing, not very, the Virgin Mary and Jesus, and has various jokes about where the frankincense should have been bought from and so on. That's perfectly commonplace. But you know what? If anyone had gone into Private Eye's offices yesterday and massacred the staff because of it in the name of Christianity or Jesus, I think that not only would all of the papers today have been a lot more robust, they would have shown, at the very least, shown this image to show what the person was who did the killing was so irate about. The fact is that there is something going on which we have to identify. It is an attempt in our societies to make Islam, and in particular the founder Islam, immune from any criticism. It cannot be allowed to continue.
Well, I agree with every word that Douglas said in those interviews. Now, those interviews are over 10 years old. And what do we find today? That it seems that Sunak has woke up, right? But after a lot of thinking, and I don't know that he has. The internet seems to have gone nuts about the fact that Sunak made this announcement last night. Galloway, George Galloway, is his usual obnoxious self, who really won't do any good in the House of Commons. This is what you've got to realise, right? Galloway is a distraction. Okay, the real problems lie within our streets, our towns, our cities, our villages. I mean, it's come to my notice lately that our countryside, our beautiful countryside, has now been branded racist. Now, I don't want to offend anyone, but this is a Christian country, okay? And the countryside is full of people who just happen to be white. There's no racism. They just happen to be white. That's all there is to it. But we've got the idiots on the internet, these people on different news programs that you lot like to call the alternative news, and you all believe it. Our countryside is racist. Galloway, I just look at him as a distraction. I cannot take this man seriously. This guy went over to see Saddam Hussein, and he flourished and gained money. I think it was from the Food for Oil program, something like that. It was in 2002 or something. He thought Saddam Hussein was a great man, right? You got to remember this. This is what Galloway stands for. And he supports terrorist groups. But believe me, right, he's not the threat that Corbyn was. Galloway is a nothing. Yeah, you must not become riled up because he happened to have won a by-election in in Rochdale. I mean, to me, it's the parties playing party politics, okay? And the fact that Galloway won this seat in Rochdale didn't come as no surprise to me. The fact that there was dirty tactics used didn't come as a shock to me. Now, why I'm saying this is because if it wasn't a shock to me, then no one is going to tell me that it was a shock to Rishi Sunak, because it can't have been. I'm sorry, it just can't have been. When I heard that a few weeks ago that Galloway was in fact running for this by-election. I thought I'd probably win it, just like he won the one for Bradford all those years ago and lost his seat. And then I think he was a Labour MP in the I can't remember when it was actually, but yeah, he started off as a Labour MP and he was kicked out for his anti-Semitism, which he's very, very well known for. But as a politician, I can't take this man seriously. He stands for nothing. Now, the people of Rochdale have obviously been hoodwinked, right? Because he sent 2 letters out. One letter was for the Muslim streets, and the other letter was for Indeed. And I'm going to see if I can find these letters. So, and the other letters were for the non-Muslim streets. So let me just see if I can find it, because it'll make more sense to you then. But this is so important. You have to wake up. Don't be distracted, right, by the likes of George Galloway and his silly, what's it called? I don't know. He's an independent. Yeah, whatever he is. I can't get all down in the dumps because George Galloway happened to win a silly by-election in Rochdale. So here we go. Galloway on Sky News. No, I want this Galloway's 2 letters. George Galloway. Way 2 letters. Is this the first letter? It could be the second letter. Or is it the first letter? This is.
I mean, if God wills it, I will give the 200 remaining days of this parliament to the service of all the people in Rochdale as your MP. So very much focused on
sex with her again. Something which can happen, you know. I mean, not everybody needs to be asked prior to each insertion. Some people believe that when you go to bed,
George's anti-imperialist stances, and I don't regret for a second standing side by side on those issues. But for me, to have to make a choice between that and standing up for the rights of women was a false choice. I thought it was blurring of something that didn't need to be blurred. It's not that complicated. You can hold 2 ideas at the same time. Salma Yaqub can hold 2 ideas at the same time, and George Galloway is capable of putting out more than 1 leaflet. In his latest campaign in Rochdale, some people got this one. So it says, to the voters of the Muslim faith in Rochdale, you've got, I, George Galloway, have fought for Muslims at home and abroad all my life and paid a price for it. If Labour lose this by-election, Sir Keir Starmer could well be forced out as Labour leader. Sir Keir Starmer, a top supporter of Israel, out. And then he says, with your support, I mean, if God wills it, I will give the 200 remaining days of this parliament to the service of all the people in Rochdale as your MP. So very much focused on Gaza there. Another letter he sent out. First and foremost, I believe in Britain. That's why I fought for Brexit and why I fought against Scottish independence. I believe in family. I am a father of 6 children, 5 of them still at school, and I don't like some of the things they are teaching our children. I believe in men and women. God created everything in pairs. Unlike the mainstream parties, I have no difficulty in defining what a woman is. He goes on to say, a man cannot become a woman just by declaring as such. And he says, I believe in law and order. There will be no grooming gangs on my watch, even if I have to arrest them. Then he ends, then talks about the local economy, fair enough. And then he ends by saying, make Rochdale great again. 1 leaflet there, very much speaking to, I suppose you could call them anti-woke talking points. Aaron, give him a little profile.
See? So he sent 2 letters out on his campaign, right? Absolutely ridiculous. Trying to address different people and confuse the people. And it seems like the people of Rochdale did indeed fall for it, if you know what I mean. But that just goes to show the party politics that goes on in this country. And you have to learn to recognize it. So I'm now looking at Galloway's win as a distraction. It's a damn distraction because people people like Douglas Murray have been talking about these blasphemy laws that seem to be on the edge, right, of people wanting them to come in. But Douglas Murray was talking about this 13, 14 years ago. And yet all of a sudden, Sunak's just woke up with it. But oh Christ, let's get distracted by George Galloway, the joke of politics. He is. The man is a literal joke. That's how he is treated. Yes, he has a good way of speaking. He can talk the talk, right? He's got, a thumping mandate. I've got a thumping mandate. He knows how to put his words across, old Georgie boy does. But the thing is, Georgie boy isn't loyal to anything or anyone. He's loyal to one person, and that's himself. Do not get distracted. Or, I don't know, don't get scared by the fact that he was voted in Rochdale. Because, I mean, it's not the first time. He was voted in Bradford. I remember it well. And I laughed then, and I'm laughing now, because this man is a complete and utter idiot. So what I do, I'm doing this because I've heard too many opinions. Everybody's opinion is right, and they got to go over it and over it and over it. And the fact that Rishi Sunak dared to mention the right wing or whatever, right, seems to have annoyed some people. For the life of me, I don't know why. But yeah, let's start. Here he comes. He's a very slight man, isn't he? He's trying to look serious.
In recent weeks and months, we've seen a shocking increase in extremist disruption and criminality.
I must say, being Prime Minister must be a very difficult job, because look at his hair. When he first became Prime Minister, not even 2 years ago, his hair was jet black, but you can now see the grey coming in. So nobody, it must be difficult. You can see the grey coming in, can't you? Here, right? You can just see it. Yeah.
What started as protests on our streets has descended into intimidation, threats, and planned acts of violence. Jewish children fearful to wear their school uniform lest it reveal their identity. Muslim women abused in the street for the actions of a terrorist group they have no connection with. Now,
all of that is very true. But Mr. Sunak, it didn't just happen yesterday. It's been going on for years and years, and you're just waking up to it now? I don't think so. What's happened here, right, is you don't like the fact that people like Galloway are getting voted in. It's what scares you, because you're realizing, you say, I'm sorry, I've had to rethink it all. Even though I think Galloway is an idiot, he's realizing, right, that people will indeed go out and vote for the most ridiculous people rather than vote for the Conservatives or the Labour.
Our democracy itself is a target. Council meetings and local events have been stormed. MPs do not feel safe in their homes.
Well, a lot of people haven't felt safe in their homes for a long, long time in this country. And we all know why. The religion of peace. In fact, walking down the street you're taking your life into your hands at sometimes, because you never know. Going into a restaurant in the middle of London, you just don't know, do you? But all of a sudden, you had this little epiphany, and you've woke up. Well, I'm glad you finally woke up, but I have to say, he's got to stop talking like it's something new. It is not anything new. It's something we have been having to live with for years and years, as Douglas rightly pointed out.
Long-standing parliamentary conventions have been upended because of safety concerns. And it is beyond alarming that last night the Rochdale by-election returned a candidate who dismisses the horror of what happened on October the 7th, who glorifies Hezbollah.
Yes, 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 yes. Now, the point I'm trying to get across here, right, is that they're all liars because he knows that George Galloway is anti-Semitic, right? His hatred for the people of Israel, his hatred for Jews, he doesn't hide it, right? Galloway just does not hide it. And I don't care if the BNP leader, Nick Griffin, backs George Galloway up, because Nick Griffin is a joke too. But these people are a joke. But are these people now, does people like Rishi Sunak, do they see these people now as more of a threat because of the mess that this government has allowed this country to get into? So you've got Galloway coming in on the left. What's next? Are we going to have people like, I don't know, could Tommy Robinson stand for something? Well, he'd need to clean himself up and brush his language up. And maybe he could. Nick Griffin, could he make a return? Paul Golding, is he going to stand somewhere? And is he going to become an MP? Because this is not just about Galloway, right? He's thinking both sides. These I'm not going to. These soft MPs are so terrified now of what could come into the House of Commons because of the mess they have allowed. That what does he think that by making a little statement like this, it's going to change anyone's mind? No, people are still going to vote for the oddballs, and it's your own fault. It's all their fault. It's not our fault. We should not blame ourselves. People are still going to vote for the oddballs, the Nick Griffins, the George Galloways, Paul Goldings. If he stands for election, I don't know. Whoever they're going to get voted for. And this is the fear. This is the fear that Labour and Conservative do not want. And that fear touched them on the shoulder the other night when Galloway, as nutty as he is, won that by-election.
And is endorsed by Nick Griffin, the racist former leader of the BNP. I need to speak to you all this evening because this situation has gone on long enough and demands a response not just from government, but from all of us. Britain is a patriotic, liberal, democratic society with a proud past and a bright future. We're a reasonable country.
Where's the sound
and a decent people. Our story is one of progress, of great achievements and enduring values. Immigrants who have come here have integrated and over the 7th. There have been those trying to take advantage of the very human angst that we all feel about the terrible suffering that war brings to the innocent, to women and children, to advance a divisive, hateful ideological agenda. On too many occasions recently, our streets have been hijacked by small groups who are hostile to our values and have no respect for our democratic traditions.
Well, it's took you all this time to wake up to that, has it? Or in that little mind of yours, or in number 10 Downing Street, are you all scuttering around like the little rats that you are? Oh my God, Nutty Galloway's in. That means we could get the likes of Paul Golding in next. Even Tommy Robinson, for God's sake, we've got to do something. We've got to do something here. Yeah, I'm going to come out and I'm going to stand at the lectern. It's the likes of Paul Golding, Tommy, the people who just go to work, go home, and then when but they take notice of everything that's going on, and they remain silent. And probably people don't even know who they vote for.
Times. Nearly everyone in Britain of the BNP. I need to speak to you all this evening because this situation has gone on long enough and demands a response not just from government, but from all of us. Britain is a patriotic, liberal, democratic society with a proud past and a bright future. We're a reasonable country and a decent people. Our story is one of progress, of great achievements and enduring values. Immigrants who have come here have integrated and contributed. They have helped write the latest chapter in our island story. They have done this without being required to give up their identity. You can be a practicing Hindu and a proud Briton as I am, or a devout Muslim and a patriotic citizen as so many are, or a committed Jewish person and the heart of your local community, and all underpinned by the tolerance of our established Christian church. We are a country where we love our neighbours, and we are...
Well, I've got to agree with all of that. Yeah. Our established Christian church. I've got to agree with all of that, right? So I've got no problem with that. Everything he said there, I haven't got a problem with.
building Britain together. But I fear that our great achievement in building the world's most successful multi-ethnic, multi-faith democracy...
Were we asked, you say we've built the world's most successful multi-ethnic, multi-religion, or whatever the hell he's going to say. Were we ever asked? No. No, no, no. We were not. We were never asked. And still it goes on.
is being deliberately undermined.
Oh.
There are forces here at home trying to tear us apart. Since October the 7th, there have been those trying to take advantage of the very human angst that we all feel about the terrible suffering that war brings to the innocent, to women and children, to advance a divisive, hateful ideological agenda. On too many occasions recently, our streets have been hijacked by small groups who are hostile to our values and have no respect for our democratic traditions.
Well, it's took you all this time to wake up to that, has it? Or in that little mind of yours, or in number 10 Downing Street, are you all scuttering around like the little rats that you are? Oh my God. Not Galloway's in. That means we could get the likes of Paul Golding in next. Even Tommy Robinson, for God's sake. We've got to do something. We've got to do something here. Yeah, I'm going to come out and I'm going to stand at the lectern and I'm going to have the government seal at the front. I'm not playing any games this time. No. I'm going to talk tough. Well, did he talk tough, though?
Membership of our society is contingent on some simple things: that you abide by the rule of law, and that change can only come through the peaceful democratic process. Threats of violence and intimidation are alien to our way of doing things. They must be resisted at all times. Nearly everyone in Britain supports these basic values, but there are small and vocal hostile groups who do not.
Well, I agree with all of that too. I have to say when I agree, and I agree with that little chunk, what he's just said.
Islamist extremists and the far right feed off and embolden each other. They are equally desperate to pretend that their violence is somehow justified, when actually these groups are two sides of the same extremist coin.
Yeah.
Neither group, except that change in our country...
Oh, see, I agree with that too. But what I don't agree with is that him coming out pretending he's just realized this is very unfair. And you know who it's unfair to? It's unfair to us, because he's taking us to be idiots. That's what he's doing. But you've only got to go back and look at a few videos and sort out about George Galloway, and you'll see why they're worried. And they're not worried about Galloway himself. No, they're worried about the others that are probably standing in line right now thinking, when the election comes, come the day of the election, I might stand for election. Paul Golding, Jada Franson. You know, people like that. Then you'll have the ones on the left. I don't know. Whoever they might be. Are they going to stand as well? And these lot are going to find themselves kicked out of government and indeed kicked out of their jobs. Remember, these people like Sunak, they're out for only themselves. They're not out to help us, right? Not at all. This is their reaction to someone, like I keep repeating, an oddball becoming an MP, and my God, all they can see is the likes of Paul Golding, Tommy Robinson, and lefties, right, coming into the House of Commons. Oh my God. And it terrifies them.
Can only come through the peaceful democratic process. Both loathe the pluralist modern country we are. Both want to set Britain against Britain, to weaponize the evils of anti-Semitism.
You have allowed Britain to be against Britain for years, and you did nothing. Well, not him personally. His government did nothing. Absolutely zero. I mean, let's think now. The Manchester Arena bombings. What was done about that? Nothing. Don't look back in anger. You know, before they'd even buried the victims. Don't look back in anger. You take us to be idiots, right? This has been coming for years and years, and it is of your own making, Sunak. You and people like you. And it's a bit too little, too late at the moment for you to stop what is going to happen to this country. Sorry, but it is. It's too little, too late. People have had enough.
Anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim hatred for their own ends. The faith of Islam, peacefully practiced by millions of our fellow citizens, is emphatically not the same thing as the extremist political ideology of Islamism, which aims to separate Muslims from the rest of society. Islamist extremists and
But you see, Mr. Sunak, you can't just say it like that, because there's thick individuals in society that don't understand your words. I met a few of them last night on a few panels, right? And they literally do not understand what you're saying. So we'll go through that again, just so you get the drift, yeah? You understand.
Ideology of Islamism, which aims to separate Muslims from the rest of society. Islamist extremists and far-right groups are spreading a poison. That poison is extremism. It aims to drain us of our confidence in ourselves as a people and in our...
But this has been going on for years. And it has been draining people to the point where now people on both sides have had enough. And then you come out to your little lectern with your government album on the front, and you think that people are going to go, oh, yes, we're going to vote Conservative. No, this is too little too late. Because after going through this and through this video, what I noticed and what came to my clear attention is he didn't actually promise anything. Okay? He didn't actually promise anything. He's a weak individual that wants to try and get the vote off all of us. Well, it's not going to happen. Your time and Labour's time is up, and all the nut jobs are going to be voted into Parliament. That's what's going to happen.
Shared future. They want us to doubt ourselves, to doubt each other, to doubt our country's history and achievements. They want us to accept a moral equivalence between Britain and some of the most despicable regimes in the world. They want us to believe that our country and the West more generally is solely responsible for the world's ills, and that we, along with our allies, are the problem. In short, they want to destroy our confidence and hope. We must not allow that to happen.
Well, this is like 14 years old. They've been trying to do this. even more years than that. And you've just decided now to come out and say it. So what are you going to do about it, Sunak? What are you going to do about it? Because words are not enough. Words are just not enough. You know, extremism of any kind, I don't care what kind it is bad. And it shouldn't have been allowed to grow the way it has on all sides. But you've allowed it to grow. And prime ministers before you have allowed it to grow. And now you're scared. You're running scared because you're not used to MPs being in fear of their lives the way they are now. You're not used to MPs having to change what they were going to talk about in the fucking House of Apes, right? You're not used to any of this. And the thing you really are not used to is people like George Galloway getting voted in a by-election. Oh my God. You know, you lot are panicking. You're panicking because you know the crap job you've all done for 13 years to this country. Look at the state of this country. Just look at it. What have you done for this country? You know, what was it President Kennedy said? Don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Sunak, what have you done for your country? What have you done? Nothing. Just like many prime ministers before you.
When these groups claim that Britain is and has been on the wrong side of history, we should reject it and reject it again. No country is perfect. But I am enormously
I don't need you to tell me to reject that on the wrong side of history because, and I'm sure there's millions like me, we all reject it and we won't listen to such nonsense. But, you know, that's us. But the young people, they're being taught it all the time. And all of a sudden, one Friday night, after George Galloway wins a by-election, out he comes, out Sunak comes. Oh, this has got to stop. Well, let's see if it does stop, shall we? Let's see. See if you can turn it around before the next election. And I don't think there'll be another election till January. Do you know that? January 2025. I think he's going to push it to the absolute limit before he lawfully has to have another election. That's my view anyway.
of the good that our country has done. Our place in history is defined by the sacrifices our people have made in the service of their own freedom and that of others. And when these groups tell our children that they cannot and will not succeed because of who they are, when they tell children that the system is rigged against them or that Britain is a racist country, this is not only a lie, but a cynical attempt to crush young dreams and turn impressionistic minds against their own society.
Too little, too late. I agree with every sentiment he's just said. But it's not enough now. It's not enough. I think the general public have had enough. And I'm not talking about the people that protest in the streets, okay? I'm talking about the people who just go to work, go home, and then when but they take notice of everything that's going on. And they remain silent. And probably people don't even know who they vote for. It's not a subject to be discussed. Then the day they go and vote for whoever. And that's who he is trying to talk to at this moment. Yeah, they're the people he is trying to appease at this moment. But it's too little, too late. Everyone knows now. I think everyone in this country must be wide awake as to what the politicians are all about. And this is all party politics. This is all about, oh my God, We could literally lose our jobs. We might not be in power, and the lunatics are going to take over the asylum. Let me make a speech.
I stand here as our country's first non-white Prime Minister, leading the most diverse government in our country's history, to tell people of all races, all faiths, and all backgrounds, it is not the color of your skin, the God you believe in, or where you were born that will determine your success, but just your own hard work and endeavor. We must be prepared.
Well, I agree with that as well. Unfortunately, there are those people out there that will tell the youngsters and people at university, well, actually, it is colour, and it's this, and it's that, and it's a religion, and it's the other, and it's the fact you use a cup and saucer or a mug, any excuse to tell them that they're going to fail before they even start.
To stand up for our shared values in all circumstances, no matter how difficult. And I respect that the police have a tough job in policing the protests we have seen, and that they are operationally independent. But we must draw a line. Yes, you can march and protest with passion. You can demand the protection of civilian life. But no, you cannot call for violent jihad. There is no context in which it can be acceptable to beam anti-Semitic tropes onto Big Ben in the middle of a vote on Israel-Gaza. And there can be...
But it happened, didn't it? And our police force, your police force, my police force, they stood by and did nothing. And why was that, do you think? Well, because the mayor told them not to. Old Sadiq Khan told them not to. And are you standing there, Rishi Sunak, trying to say to us, the people, that you don't have no say over the police force? That you can't ring up that Rowling guy, Sir Mark Rowling or whatever he's called, and say, oh, I think you need to get the police to be policing the streets, not standing by listening to whatever on their iPods.
Be no cause that you can use to justify the support of a prescribed terrorist group like Hamas. And yes, you can freely criticize the actions of this government, or indeed any government. That is a fundamental democratic right. But no, you cannot use that as an excuse to call for the eradication of a state or any kind of hatred or anti-Semitism. This week, I've met with senior police officers and made clear it is the public's expectation that they will not merely manage these protests, but police them. And I say this to the police: we will back you when you take action. But if we are asking more of the police, we in government must also back up that call with action. To that end, this month the government will implement a new, robust framework for how it deals with this issue.
Now, what is that framework going to be? What do you think it's going to be? It's funny how he didn't go into detail about what that framework's going to be, because he probably won't know. I mean, let's remember Rwanda, shall we? That's never going to get off the ground. This, when you look at it and pick at it bit by bit by bit by bit by bit, is an absolute joke of a speech. An absolute joke of a speech. I can't take this man seriously.
To ensure that we are dealing with the root causes of this problem, and that no extremist organizations or individuals are being lent legitimacy by their actions and interactions with central government. You cannot be part of our civic life if your agenda is to tear it down. We will redouble our support for the PREVENT program to stop young minds being poisoned by extremism. We will demand that universities stop extremist activity on campus. We will also act to prevent people entering this country whose aim is to undermine its values.
So, do we take from that all the boats are going to stop today? So there won't be no more boats coming in then? from, you know, war-torn France. There's not going to be no boats coming in from war-torn France. I think there will be. You see, again, you didn't think about your words before you actually spoke them. You know, you're going on about people in this country, blah, blah, blah. Yet you're letting hundreds of thousands in. You've let more in that are literally, there's more illegal immigrants in this country now than there is members of the army. Yeah. Just think about that for a minute. More illegal immigrants than there is members of our British Army. That's disgusting.
The Home Secretary has instructed that if those here on visas choose to spew hate or protest or seek to intimidate people, we will remove their right to be here. And our Britain must not be a country in which we descend into polarized camps, with some communities living parallel lives. It is not.
But it already is. What it is? He's talking like it hasn't happened yet. This goes to show he hasn't been in the streets of this country anywhere. People are already living parallel lives. There's people in this country, they don't want to know. They want to stay in their own community. They live in their own community, and they don't care about anything else. So it's already happening, Mr. Sunak.
Enough to live side by side. We must live together, united by shared values and a shared commitment to this country. And I want to speak directly to those who choose to continue to protest. Don't let the extremists hijack your marches. You have a chance in the coming weeks to show that you can protest decently, peacefully, and with empathy for your fellow citizens. Let us prove these extremists wrong and show them that even when we disagree, we will never be disunited from our common values of decency and respect. I love this country. My family and I owe it so much. The time has now come for us all to stand together to combat the forces of division and beat this poison. We must face down the extremists who would tear us apart. There must be leadership, not pandering or appeasement. When they tell...
I hope you stick to that and you stop pandering and you stop appeasing all of the extremists, all of them, because it you know, like I keep saying, this is too little, too late. The genie's out of the tin or whatever it's in, right? It's out. I don't know if you're going to be able to put it back in. And it's not just one side; it's all sides. Everyone is angry, but you know, everyone is angry, and they've got a good right to be angry. And because your government has allowed this country to get into a state it's never been in before, and that is a state where it could easily end up in civil war. Even at the height of the bloody IRA, when they were doing what they were doing, it was never like this, never. And now look at us. You don't know who to trust anymore. You can't trust anything a politician says. You know, try and get a doctor's appointment. No. Try and get into the hospital. No. Try and get help for somebody. Well, no. The ambulance will come in 8 hours. This country is a mess, and he's worried about protesters, you know. I can remember when in Northern Ireland, when the protesting got really bad, you know, out came the old water cannon. Well, what, you know, if they could use it in Northern Ireland on those people over there, why can't you use it over here? Why can't you use the water cannon over here? You used it over there in Ireland, Northern Ireland. So I say get it out here and use it here. Stop these crazy protests about a country we can't help. We can't stop the war between Israel and Gaza. We can't help what's going on there. But you're still going to allow these crazy protests with these extremists inside the protesters. They're there. They're walking amongst them. And the protesters are not going to say anything about it. And you know this, Sunak. But it's too little, too late. And now you've got a right nut job going down to Parliament. And believe me, it's going to be followed by more people that are not fit to go into the House of Commons. But unfortunately, the good old British public will no doubt, vote them in. Then we're going to feel what it's like. You see, I think we take what we've got in this country for granted. I do. I think we take it for granted. We expect things to go a certain way. We expect things to be just a certain way. And it's when that kind of thing is threatened that people get angry. And these daily ways of life have been now threatened. We don't like that our democracy, our House of Commons, is being threatened by a group of extremists. And we know who these people are. We know who they are, and we know what they stand for. And you decided to do nothing for months and months. And then, last night you decide to come out with this. Well, after a lot of thought, I've realized what was behind this speech. And what was behind this speech is the fear of the oddballs having your job. That's what's behind this speech.
Tell their lies. We will tell the truth.
Yeah.
When they try and sap our confidence, we will redouble our efforts. And when they try and make us doubt each other, we will dig deeper for that extra ounce of compassion and empathy that they want us to believe doesn't exist, but that I know does. If we do that, we can build on our great achievement in creating today's Britain, a country of kind, decent, tolerant people. We can make this a country in which we all feel a renewed sense of pride. This is our home. So let us go forward together, confident in our values and confident in our future.
You didn't have the good grace to say and thank you and good night, did he? Like walked off. But whatever. At the end there, that's all like word salad. It means nothing. It's just filling up the speech. But as I said, there's a lot of that speech that I agreed with. But don't be fooled, right? Don't be fooled. You're not going to be seeing many changes. You're going to be seeing some, I think, because the fear of the lunatics taking over the asylum now has truly hit home with these. For the ordinary person in the street, things could pick up, then things could get worse. Who knows? But I'm not falling for this, right? They're all panicking because of one man, George Galloway. That's what we're meant to believe. No. It's what could follow with George Galloway. Could you imagine if Paul Golding became an MP or Jada Franson won an election, or that Irish woman who lives up in Hartlepool, whose name, Waters, I think her name is, or if she won a by-election somewhere and she became an MP? Then we have people like that in Parliament. Now, before you start even thinking like that, you've got to try and imagine and visualize a Parliament full of people like that, right? Of the people I've just mentioned. Would it be any worse than it is now? Personally, I know who I'm going to vote for. I'm going to vote for me. Yeah. I'm going to vote for me because I don't recognize this country anymore. I don't. I honestly do not recognize this country anymore. I hope we can pull it back, I hope he can pull it back. But should we forgive them? Should we, the general public, forgive the government for what they've done over the last 13 years? Should we? I know the answer to that. For me, is no. The state of this country is down to these people. I mean, he's not even elected. He was just put in by Johnson. Or they had some silly vote. And all of a sudden he becomes Prime Minister. We didn't elect him. And we didn't elect the one before him. That woman who lasted, I don't know, a week or something. We didn't elect her. So remember, when it's time to when he does finally call a general election, which I think is going to be right at the end of the year, right? Don't get apathy about I'm not going to bother voting. You've got to treat this as a very important vote. If not, this country is going to decline into chaos. It really is. You've got to think carefully about the way you're going to vote. And we've got to stop this sectarian voting that's going on. It has to stop. If it doesn't stop, that's when we get Jada France and Paul Golding and whoever that's on the right. And then on the left, we get whoever. I don't know many lefties, so I wouldn't know. It really, you really have to think hard. And it's no good saying, I'm not going to vote at all. I'm not going to vote at all. Just vote for somebody. Yeah, just vote for someone. But I think you'll have all year to think about it because there's no way he's going to call a general election yet. He's not going to chance it. No, they'd be trying to work out something pretty damn quick. Because the public, the general public, they've given them a taste that they're not the answer to everything and that they are replaceable. Can you imagine his face when George Galloway won that by-election? I mean, I'm giggling, right? I'm giggling because I've never been able to take George Galloway or the people that vote for George Galloway seriously. To me, the man is an absolute joke. And he's filling a seat in the House of Commons from Monday where somebody decent could be sitting. But, you know, this is the government's fault. It's not our fault. You know, don't blame yourself. It's not our fault. This is the government's fault. This is the state this government has put our country into, where people will literally vote for the crazies to take over the asylum that we live in. It's a sad time, a very sad time. I think, anyway. So I thought this would be good to end on.
Sinister tactics about which I think there's a lot more to come out in order to try
not hate, who claim to defend and champion and promote democracy and the rule of law are nothing of the sort. Just another pack of intolerant leftists who want to intimidate those who question their ideology. You've written about this group. Tell me just what they've done recently and how they're trying to shame people from following causes they don't back.
They're an utterly shameful group. They're one of a number of organisations in the UK, as in the US and Australia, who pretend to be anti-fascist, but seem to me just to need to drop the anti bit. This group also is wildly misnamed. It calls itself Hope Not Hate. It should reverse it. It's hate, not hope. It spends its time smearing people, libeling people, and doing very, very sinister tactics about which I think there's a lot more to come out. In order to try to pressure people in society to having the precise far left political views that Hope Not Hate has. This past week, they dropped a bombshell revelation. They said they had a deep investigation into the tweets, Rita, imagine it, tweets and likes of tweets by somebody who happens to be one of the owners of GB News, which is one of the balancing channels in the UK. And because he'd liked tweets they didn't like, they said this is an extraordinary investigation. Of course, it's not an investigation. It's not an investigative journalism piece. All they did was sit eating crisps at their mum's keyboard whilst doing screenshots. But these people want to be the policemen and the linesmen of our society. And you know what? Groups like this have had nothing to say about the weeks and weeks of anti-Semitic hate marches on the streets of London and other cities. They don't have anything to say about that, it seems. But my, they can really come down hard on somebody they don't like who likes a tweet that they don't like. They're pathetic.
Are you there, Danny?
Yeah, I like Douglas. He's good, isn't he?
Yes.
Why can't you vote? Why can't you vote for that man?
Well, he doesn't. I know he doesn't stand for election, does he?
Yeah, but he's the only person I know who can stand there and tell Putin about himself, and you know what I mean. And he could do it. He could do it.
Yeah, of course he could. I mean, and if he did, I mean, yeah, he'd get my vote all the time.
Yeah, all day long.
But do you see what I mean about the way Sunak's reacted to the Galloway win? It's because they see what's coming behind it as well. Yeah, you know, you could get the Jada Fransons and the Paul Goldings winning seats.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know, and they don't want that.
No, because it splits them up. It splits them, give them less seats themselves, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. They don't want it, and I think. I can't see them doing a lot, to be quite honest, Danny. But they're running scared because they see the future not including them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think they all. I think Sunak and what's his Liberal Starmer, is it? That's him, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other guy. Yeah. There's only the Reform really what's going, and it's not really a great party. I mean, it's okay, but it's not great, is it?
It's not strong enough for my liking.
No, it's not great.
I mean, you've got like Farage, who likes to call himself not the president of not the leader of the Reform Party, but something else, right? He won't commit directly.
No, he won't commit.
To it.
No.
No.
I don't know why. It's annoying. I mean, he probably wouldn't get my vote now anyway. He would have years ago, but not now. He's let me down too many times.
Well, yeah, and like,
I still respect Farage for getting. It wasn't for Farage. I think we all know it wasn't for him. He wouldn't really be out this. We wouldn't be out the EU, would we?
No. But what he does is he's trying to be cute, right? Because he's waiting to see how well he's going to wait. And if this Reform Party does take off, I can't see it. That's when he'll want to be known as the leader. I will move out the way. I'm the leader. But you do know he's never actually been an MP in this country.
No, he was a European MP. Well, yeah, he wasn't UK MP. He never stood for election here, did he?
No, he's never been an MP in this country. I mean,
as far as I know, I have to look up. As far as I know, he hasn't. I don't know unless I'm corrected.
But everyone seems to be losing their minds over what Sunak said last night, and after much watching of it and then thinking about it, I thought, no. Ha! I know what's going on here. They're worried about the people that could end up in the House of Commons. Yeah.
Yep. Sat next to fucking. Well, you can't imagine. I can't even say the words. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine? Tommy Robinson sat there. Yeah.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Danny.
Hi, Cassie.
Hi, Cassie.
Hi, darling. Yeah, it's well, he'd have to stop saying bruv. But yeah, if he decided to run for MP for wherever.
Well, I took some notes down, right? It says, so I understood it right. It said both vocal hostile groups, i.e. the Islamic extremists and the far-right groups, are two sides of the coin. And I agree with him there. I do agree with him there. As in, there are two sides of the coin, obviously different. Maybe what can I say? They're both causing the same fucking problems. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was trying to say as well. That's what I took from it anyway. They're both as bad as each other, sort of thing. He also said, right, they both loathe our country, which is, I'm not quite sure. Does the far right loathe our country? Because the far rights I know are very patriotic, aren't they?
No, the
Are they
far
not?
right, the far right, yeah, they blame the Jews for everything,
Oh, right, okay.
literally everything, right?
So these people, what I'm trying to say is these people like Jada and Golding and that, which want to, what is it, pay 15, well, Mark Collett, for example, pay 15 grand and get everyone out, and only the English and Anglo-Saxon people are left. You know what I mean? That's not loathing the country, is it?
No, it's not loathing the country. I think the government's worried they're going to end up with people like that in the House of Commons.
Yeah.
And they don't want it, but they've got no one else to blame but themselves.
Yeah.
I listened to his words, and they are very parallel to what my prime minister, his rhetoric is that he spews. I couldn't believe the similarities.
Exactly.
That came out of Sunak. Is that his name?
Yeah, Sunak.
Yeah, his mouth. He sounds so much like my prime minister. It's sickening.
Well, yeah, your prime minister is sickening, isn't he?
He is sickening. Donald Trump won't do business with us. If he gets in office, he said he won't do business with the Canadians.
Oh,
right, wow. He doesn't like your politics, does he? They don't get on, do they?
Like, we're in trouble if Justin Trudeau gets another round.
You can trade with us, man. Cassie, let them know. Give them an email. You can trade with us. I'll sort it, man.
Oh, they trade with this. Our king's head of state.
All day long.
And I follow a gentleman. He's an older gentleman. He's in his 80s. And I follow him on YouTube. And he's from England. And he said, why are all these different flags from all these different countries flying in their yards? We are the country that took them in. We take care of them. We provide them with education, housing, NHS, all that stuff. Why are they not flying English flags? Why are they flying their flags from back home?
Exactly, Cassie. That's what I don't
Because they have the freedom to do so, sadly. But they do have the freedom to do so. That's why.
Yeah, but I get the guys, like, what, if they're here, they're living here, and they're supposed to be for this country, why are they always flying the flag of whatever country they've either weren't born in, but their parents were born in? Do you see what I mean?
I mean, the only similarity I've got is when the World Cup was on, fucking hell, this is quite a while back, when Scotland was in there, my dad did put a Scottish flag up outside his Spanish fucking house for the week, and then he took it down. But that wasn't like anything to do.
That's different.
He wouldn't think of doing it any other time. You know what I mean? He would never ever think of doing that any other time because he's Spanish. He lived to go to Spain. You're supposed to live the Spanish way, aren't you? You're supposed to get used to their culture, their way of things, and you know what I mean? That's
but we're not really a nation of flag wavers anyway, are we? When you think about it, this is all a new thing for me.
Yeah, well, St. George's Cross 60 out of someone's bedroom windows about the only thing you really get now.
Yeah, when the football's on, that's about it.
And you're guaranteed they got a pit bull or something inside.
Yeah, but I mean, when the football's on, if it's England and it's like, I don't know, the Euros or the World Cup and we're in it, seeing a St. George's Cross outside, it's not like...
you don't mind that.
You know what it is, yeah? But if every house, like in America, I don't know if they do it in Canada.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. There's every single house has got the fucking stars
in America,
and bangles all over it.
Yeah, they got the bloody flag up. What's that about?
In case they forget where they live, that's all I can think of. I don't understand it otherwise. You forgot where you lived in America, pal. The fucking flag's right there. Look, it tells you every morning. Jesus fuck. It baffles me, but that's them being patriotic. Isn't it? That's what
they are a very patriotic people.
Well, yeah, and it was listening to the Americans where I heard for the first time the saying that they don't like the hyphenated American, and I thought, ooh, What's a hyphenated American then?
I
Right?
have no idea.
Well, yeah. Now, a hyphenated American is someone that likes to refer to themselves as a Afro-American,
Yes.
a Cuban American, an Italian
Oh,
American.
right, attaching the name to it first. Right,
Yeah,
okay.
what they want is people just to call themselves American.
American, yeah.
No hyphenated, no.
I suppose that though. My mate, who's a Bangladeshi, he comes from Bangladesh originally. His family, all that does like. He said he was English Bangladesh, which is weird. He called it English Bangla, and I was like, "You what?" He goes, "Yeah, English Bangladesh." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I said to him." I said, "You're either English or you're Bangladesh." I said, "Where was you born?" "I was born in Bangladesh." I said, "When did you come here?" "I was 4-year-old." "You've been here ever since?" "Yeah." "How old are you now?" 52. "All right. I'd treat you." "Yeah, all right. Okay. I think you're Bangladesh, but you've got a citizenship of English by now, surely." And he has done, obviously. He's been working all his life. But I'm thinking, how do you class that? Only 4 years.
Lawfully, he's British, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'd say. He's gone to through education, everything here. You know what I mean?
But there's a lot of like mixing up of words when it comes to British and English, and I don't like it. And why does everyone want to be English? They don't want to be Welsh. They don't want to be Scottish. They just want to be English. I don't get that.
Yeah. Mind you, when you go for your passport, you put in British. It asks you what it is: Welsh, English, Irish, or Scottish. They do ask you.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like these hyphenated ones, right? Why can't
I know
they?
I know what you're saying, Linda.
Why can't they just be British? But they won't. Like your mate said, "Oh, he's Bangladesh."
Yeah, he said
English.
like British Bangla or something. And I was like, English Bangla. That was it, English Bangla. Because I just couldn't. I knew what he meant straight away. I just couldn't believe he was actually telling me it. I was like, "Fucking that."
Yeah.
Is that a thing? And to him, it was a thing. Like to him, it was a normal. Like,
yeah, when people ask me what I am, I just say I'm a Canadian.
Exactly. There you go. Exactly. You don't go looking 100 years back, 200 years back to see.
Exactly.
Yeah. Someone asked me when I'm abroad, where you're from. I said the UK or Britain. And they go, yeah. Sometimes people go, what part of the UK? They might say that, because they know it's split up into 4 sort of things. Like, and I go, I'm Scottish originally, but apart from that, I'm UK, I'm British. And that's it. That's as far as it goes, really. I don't fucking say I'm Scottish English or Scottish British or whatever the fuck it is.
The Americans annoy me sometimes when they'll mix people up from England with Australia. How they do that is beyond
I don't have a clue how they do that either, Wendy. They do it though, don't they?
I've only just sussed out the last 5 years how you can tell a Canadian to American, because I was bad years ago.
Oh, listen. Once you see it and once you hear it, once you
hear it, you know it. Then
you know it. You know when you're talking to a Canadian or an American. There's a very distinct, different sound in their voices.
I think it was only the last sort of 5, 6, not long ago. I sort of learned that. Must admit.
Yeah, but it's got to be pointed out to you before you can actually tell. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
But the Australian accent's completely different than the British accent.
Yeah. Nothing like ours, is it? It's fucking. I don't know. Yeah, it's nothing like ours. When you hear it, you think, how can you not tell? How can you not tell? Mind you, I'm not saying nothing apart from the Americans aren't the brightest fucking apples in the bucket, are they? Let's be honest.
No, they're not. And why, Cassie? While you're here, love, why do Americans and Canadians not get on? Because
what is that? Good question, Wendy. What is that?
Because they think that they. How do I put this? They think that we're their little sister.
Oh, right. So they think they can lord it over you, kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Canada's never paid taxes anything like to America, have they?
No.
Nothing.
They view us as their little sister. And I was in Mexico one time and we were in the swimming pool and there was a bunch of Americans in there. And we were at the swim-up bar having a drink. And he said, where are you guys from? And I said, we're from Canada. And he said, well, we're from America. I said, yeah, I could tell.
Yeah.
And you can point them out in a second. And he said, oh, Canada, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. We own you guys anyways. And I said, excuse me, we're independent of ourselves. You don't own us.
Well,
We owe you nothing.
Well, I think the Americans have forgot that our king is your head of state. That's why you have a prime minister.
Exactly.
You know, so the Americans need to catch on a bit, don't they, really?
Yes.
Fucking idiots. There's no war, no history of war, nothing like that.
No. But it's a well-known fact that, you know, a lot of them, they don't like each other.
We don't. No, we don't. That's why when we travel, we'll put a little Canadian flag pin on our backpack.
Yeah.
Or something like that, because the treatment we get is so much nicer than when they think that we're American.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Oh, right. Okay, I get you. Right. Going back to the politics, what I did notice on Ghost Speaker's Corner this week is just that little bit of, you know, we might be getting Islamophobia put in law, blasphemy laws. All of a sudden, you know, it's like they think that, I'm going to put it to you, that they're actually going to get that. You know, they see, but they're not. It's not going to happen. Or you're going to,
delusion.
You know, because you're going to have Christians then who want laws against their for their religion, and then the Sikhs and the Hindus.
What'll happen is you end up different counties with different fucking religion strongholds. You know what I mean?
But you
I
can't.
ain't going to live up there because they're full of Hindus or something. Or I ain't going to live up there because, you know what I mean, I got to go to the right, whatever I am. I'm an atheist, so where's atheist? Or I go to Birmingham, go there or something. You know what I mean? Whatever. That's what's going to end up being, isn't it? If you keep going there. Crazy,
but
man.
It only took a little bit, and all of a sudden they got really brave, you know, and things were being said. And I just thought, no, you need to stop it, because this is an established Christian country, you know, and unfortunately successive government after successive government has let them all in. I personally never forgive them for what they've done to this country. I don't know if Canada's the same, Cassie, but here, no.
Well, their argument is, right?
It's the same here, Wendy.
We signed agreements, right, to allow this to happen. Some we didn't, obviously.
No.
But they signed agreements, the Barcelona agreement, all these sort of things, right? But the problem is, they could have stopped them at any point. They could have said, all right, you know what? We've changed our mind. We've had enough now. We're stopping the agreement. We're pulling out of the agreement. No one's going to go to war with us pulling out of an agreement. You know, I mean, we could have done it any time. Anytime we could have done it and said, look, we've had enough now. We've done our
But
bit.
we were never asked about these agreements, were they? You know, the government they were going around signing us up for all these agreements and not telling us about it.
Well, this is what I was saying to someone the other day, because someone said, oh, you don't want to live in dictatorship, Danny. And I said, listen, you're dictated to all the time.
Yeah.
You only get a choice one day after 4 years. Is it 4 years or 5 years?
5 years.
You get a choice to go and change that vote. After the next day, you're dictated to again. So don't think you don't live in a dictatorship, because of course you live in a dictatorship. It's obvious you do, man. It's just not as strong as China, or not as strong as or obvious as Putin, but it's there. We're dictated to every single day, and that's a perfect example. They went and signed some agreement that we didn't even know about. The fuck?
Exactly. You know, all of a sudden we're signed up to this. Oh, are we?
Yeah, but we trust their MPs, half asleep, sitting there, voting for something that they didn't even know about. Never read a document or a dossier about the thing anyway, but they sit there. They call it the whip, don't they? Well, Sunak says I should vote, so I better vote. Not even read the fucking dossier. They just sit there, half asleep. Yeah, voting time. Yeah, I vote. That's it. Off we go.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Have you ever watched Prime Minister's Questions?
I used to watch it on Thursday. Was it Wednesday morning? I think
Wednesday.
Thursday morning.
Yeah.
No, Wednesday afternoon, isn't it now?
12 till 12:30.
That's it. Yeah. That's right. I have watched it many times. I used to watch Question Time every week.
Oh, I don't
regardlessly.
Anymore. No.
I used to do loads.
So did I.
No
Everything had to stop for Question Time. Not anymore.
Yeah. I was the same. Exactly the same. If I couldn't stop it, I'd record it so I'd watch it afterwards. You know
That's right.
But yeah, it's sickening, because now you watch it. I watched it recently, actually. I watched it I just turned the TV on, put the girlfriend, turned it on. I was like, Question Time, I've seen this for years. Let's leave it on for a minute. I just started laughing after about 5 minutes. I was just giggling, going, I can't believe
Because
I
it's
just watched
all
this mess.
fake, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
all fake.
So what a mess. All them people who are giving the questions have all been told to give the questions. Most of them are all like, a lot of them you're seeing there giving the questions are up and coming candidates, aren't they? Up and coming, you know what I mean? Media things for this Conservative Party. All of a sudden they're asking questions to give a brilliant, so the Conservative man can give a brilliant answer. You're like, what a staged and edited. This is fucking stupid, man.
All of it is because. But I don't think Sunak will call an election before. You know, when they break up for summer, they have their little summer holidays for 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then if you think after that, right, when they go back, they all have their party conferences, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
So they, there's another chance to be, pushing everything. And I think he'll call an election in. It wouldn't surprise me if he left it till November, December.
Yeah, October, December, November. Yeah, I'd say late in the year. Yeah, yeah. That's about. I don't know. Why not? If you're gonna, you know what I mean. If you're gonna, you're getting sacked. You're gonna try and keep the job as long as possible.
Well, I don't remember voting for him. I didn't vote for him.
He said that to the other one as well. The earlier one. He was only in for a few weeks. There was also that one before that. I know that Theresa May. She didn't get voted in either. It was all passed on, wasn't it? It was all passed on.
Liz Truss, wasn't it? Yeah, just passed
Liz
on.
Truss, sorry, not Theresa May. Sorry, Liz Truss. It was all passed on from Boris. As soon as Boris fucked off, everything just got passed on from then.
Well, I felt sorry for Boris in a way because he was handed the most deplorable premiership ever. I mean, he has to get Brexit through. He gets Brexit through, thinks, it's a winner, and all COVID comes along. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that was not the person to be in charge of our country when COVID hit us.
No.
Unbelievable.
Do you know they're talking over here about Wexit?
Wexit? What's Wexit? What's
Wexit?
that?
Western Canada would like to separate.
What? So you're splitting Canada up? You mean?
Pardon?
You're splitting Canada up into two?
Yeah, they would like to. We would like to. Us Westerners would like to.
Oh, what's the reasons for that then? Are you a Westerner?
Well, yeah, I'm a Westerner.
Okay, so
yeah,
this is interesting then. So why don't you want to be part of Eastern Canada? What's going on?
Because the Liberals, the populace of Liberals is condensed there, and our votes don't seem to matter here. We just don't have the population to make a difference.
Okay.
And all the Liberals live in Eastern Canada.
Right.
And Justin Trudeau, his father, when he was Prime Minister, he didn't like Western Canada. And Justin Trudeau has just carried on with what his father started. He's just carrying it on. And we're tired of our money that we make keeping the rest of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
so
that.
Which part is the French part in?
That's Montreal. That's right down the middle.
Right.
And it's Toronto. Where's Toronto? That's
Toronto's Eastern. That's where Jose is from.
Right.
He's Atlantic.
So is Eastern more city-based and Western's more town-based?
Yes, it's more rural where I live.
Yeah. So it's like someone in UK living up at the edge of England, where furthest away from Westminster, where it all happens in London. So they get treated, you know what I mean, they get the least fucking, I don't know.
Yes. Honestly, you guys, I have to say, I do not see a lot of immigrants. I don't see, it's predominantly white.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of immigrants. And if you go to Vancouver, in British Columbia, you'll see a lot of Chinese. They've bought up the property there.
Yeah.
But as far as immigrants, I don't see a lot of immigrants. That's more Eastern Canada.
Okay. So what about the natives of Canada? Is there a special thing for them? They don't have to work, do they?
They don't have to work. No, they don't have to work. Should they decide to work, they're not taxed on their wages.
What does the country think about that then?
Well, we don't like it.
I bet you don't.
We don't like it. It's not fair. We're taxed heavily. We're taxed 44%.
Wow.
And yeah, we pay a large tax. And they don't have to work. They all qualify for government assistance. And you have multi-generations on government assistance.
Yeah.
That's all they know. And if they do decide to go...
Work, they're not stupid enough. They can work, can't they?
They can. Right. And if they do decide to go to uni, it's entirely paid for. It costs them nothing. And by nothing, I mean nothing. They have funding for every little thing, right down to their pencils.
Is this because they're natives to Canada?
Yes, and the treaties long ago, 200 years ago, these were signed treaties.
Oh, that seems a bit unfair for this.
Yeah. 200 years ago, that's a bit much now. You're like, hang on, come on. Well, you're taking the piss now, aren't you? Fucking hell. Come on, man. Jesus.
I'm only asking because I think maybe me and Danny will be able to be treated as like natives.
I was going to say, if we can come in as natives, like, yeah, somehow.
If you can produce 1% native in you, you don't you qualify.
I'm getting my DNA checked. I'm having some of that. If I can retire now in Canada, brilliant. See, yeah. I'll be offline for a few weeks, folks, while I get a new internet sorted in Canada.
And they can live on reservation, or they can live in the towns or cities.
Oh, reservation for me, out the way. Fucking out the way. I don't want towns and cities. Fuck that.
So Danny West has a question for you, Cassie.
There you go.
He sent the army in to stop the lorry drivers protesting, didn't he, Cassie?
Yes, that was Justin Trudeau. Actually, finally, we're getting some justice for that. The Supreme Court has deemed that he called a state of emergency when it was not a state of emergency, when the trucker convoy was protesting. And he froze all their bank accounts.
Oh my God, did he?
He froze all their bank accounts, which was illegal. And now he's got charges on him, criminal charges, that the Supreme Court would like to push through.
What a power rush, what an ego fucking power. Oh, you think you're a protester? Yeah, right. Stop all the banks. Imagine that rush.
He did. He did. He froze all their bank accounts. So the mothers back home, while the truckers were in Ontario, protesting, how are these women to buy groceries for their families? How do they pay their bills? How are they to put gas in their vehicles?
Just the nerve to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Donald Trump wouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
No.
And to call a state of emergency.
What, over a few trucks?
Some trucks blocking off some streets.
Hello.
Hi, Babs.
Hi, Wendy.
Babs.
Hi, Cassie. How's everybody?
All right, yeah.
All right.
Good. You all right, Danny?
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm glad you're having a coffee now. You can all chat.
You've been going around, have you, listening to what's going on the rest of the channels? Anything I should know about?
No. I went on Jupiter. Well, I didn't go on. I was in the chat on Jupiter. She has let me still comment at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see how long that lasts. It probably won't last long. Because you know me, I have to put my little comments in, don't I? I can't help myself, can I?
Babs, who was that man she had on today? She was interviewing.
I don't know. I've never seen him before. I've never even heard him before.
Was it
His
Reactionary?
name was
Reactionary.
He's been around for years. Yeah, he's been around.
Oh, has he? Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't seen him before. But I just found it strange because, I mean, I said to her I said to her don't let him keep getting away with this. Because he was trying to deny that October the 7th happened. She didn't say anything to him, and it really
She
annoyed
wouldn't. She wouldn't
me.
because she'd be scared he'd leave. That's why he's called reactionary. You know, he can't keep his temper. He's a strange guy. Yeah.
Right, okay. So if she'd said anything to him, the likelihood would have been that he would have left.
Yeah.
So
Well,
basically, she was sucking up to him.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
well,
still. If he was denying October the 7th happened, I mean, she should have said something to him. I mean, that's
yeah, because she said she likes him to say what he wants to say, but I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't ever be my style, but I don't think anybody would be my style.
I was in the kitchen. I heard someone say that they reckoned October the 7th didn't happen or something. Who was that?
Yeah, that
That was
reactionary.
reactionary
Oh,
today.
right,
He was
okay.
saying on Jupiter's that
Oh, right.
he reckons it was all bullshit, and
Well, Jupiter's
Jupiter
now a
didn't
conspiracy
even pull
channel,
him
isn't
up about it.
Yeah, it's just a conspiracy channel now, so let them crack on. Fuck it.
I just listened to a few minutes of it, and neither one of them were making any sense. Not Jupiter nor this reactionary person.
Yeah, I found it. I mean, is he a Muslim, Wendy?
Yeah.
Okay, I just find it funny.
Go on,
He
sorry.
sounds like he's a fucking a posh Englishman, and yet he's from. Okay. I mean, you know, I'm not saying that, but like, yeah, I was just a bit surprised. I suppose I don't know. Nothing
So
else has
Jupiter's
been going
not blamed
on.
me then for October the 7th yet, no?
Sorry.
Jupiter's not blamed me yet for October the
Oh
7th.
no, Danny, hold on.
I'm waiting
There's
for it.
plenty of time for that to come yet.
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. It was Danny Jones's fault. Danny Jones.
Jones and his group. It was Danny Jones and his group. They started October the 7th. That's
Yeah.
what's gonna happen. You know,
Oh, she did mention you today about about the girl, about the she said that you lot said that 14-year-olds cannot
Group. They use the word
men
group,
or
don't
something
they?
or other.
Yeah, they use the
And
word group.
it's not. It was just that one particular girl, wasn't it, that you were talking about?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Episode 1. Yeah.
it was strange, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. Everyone's got an opinion. And that's it.
Everyone has a right to their opinion, you know.
Yep.
But
Everybody has one, just like an asshole.
yeah. So I want to see what this reactionary was saying. So hang on a minute.
You don't get born into a religion. Well, I know Muslims believe that you do, but you can change your mind about being in a religion. I know in other countries you can't, but in Britain you certainly can. We don't kill people for leaving a religion. So
likewise in Islam as well, like Islam is a choice. Your parents, you have a natural disposition to believe in God, but there comes a point in life you have to choose your path. So everyone has to make that point at some point in their life to choose to submit to God. Yeah, sorry, no. Just wanted to
but in a lot of Muslim countries they will kill you if you leave the faith.
To leave the faith, it depends. They may decide. It depends. If you leave your faith quietly, who would know that you've left your faith? If you decide to now speak out publicly, say I'm against. True. Can I
probably
point
on both
something
sides?
out? Did you hear about the Royal Marine who got prosecuted for shooting an Afghani who was injured in a firefight?
No.
So they took him to court, and there were loads of protests in the UK. People were saying that he shouldn't be
Jupiter.
charged.
Yes, she did. Jupiter.
What he did was during war, etc.
Fucking hell.
But a lot of British troops were
All right. What's he saying?
charged with crimes committed during the Afghan conflict. And that's because we have what's called the laws of armed conflict.
No, we don't.
Now,
No,
the problem is,
No.
He's such an idiot.
these laws, when it comes to Israel, are
Right.
complete.
So what we have is the rules of engagement and the Geneva Convention, and the soldier he's talking about, which he seems to have forgotten about, was Soldier A, and he was a Royal Marine, and he did in fact break the Geneva Convention. there was a wounded guy on the floor, Afghan.
Enemy?
Enemy, yeah, and he was wounded and...
Was he, hang on, was this enemy lying on the floor previously firing at this soldier or not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
And he was
okay.
wounded and he shot him. The soldier shot him and said, I
Right.
think I fucking just broke the Geneva Convention, right?
Oh, okay, not good.
And somebody had their camera on and took it and filmed it all.
Right.
And then the MOD found it. And this guy was took to court and everything. And, you know, of course, but the thing is that the Religion of Peace have picked up on it and they won't shut up about it, if you know what I mean. But
How long
what
did
they
he get?
forget...
I don't know. How long did he get?
I think he, I don't know. I think he got about 7 years, didn't he, Babs?
Really? 7?
I don't know. I can't remember.
No, neither can I. But I do know what they don't take into account, right, is when the British squaddy is like in the depths of Afghanistan.
Adrenaline, fear. There's so much to fucking bring
But
into that.
also their pals, they've maybe seen their pals blown to bits.
Yeah, but they walked up to the enemy who's screaming for help, and the guy pulled a hand grenade out and took them both out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm not condoning what he's done at all. I'm not agreeing with it or nothing. But
no, neither am I.
There's got to be
but
more
what-
to it than that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
there's more to it.
Yeah.
Apparently, this guy, he had post-traumatic stress disorder and everything, but was still out in the field fighting. But
Yeah. Well, that's common though, isn't it? Because they have these biological weapon pills, don't they?
you
And
know
that's not
what
really
I
something
always
that's common
think
at
is
all.
this, right? People, what I always think is this. My God, can you imagine if they had the technology, camera-wise, right, and video-wise, back in the Second World War?
Oh man,
You know, I think there'd be a lot more. There'd be a lot more war crimes, if you
Oh, yeah.
like. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh,
Yeah.
most definitely.
So,
Yeah.
so how come, right, a single soldier, I think his name is, right? Soldier
Yeah.
A has been locked up for 7 years for obviously killing a man unlawfully or whatever you call it, on no reason to do so, what they
No.
said, obviously, right? I'm not even sitting, I'm just guessing what's happened here. But
Yeah,
but
he
Blair,
broke the Geneva Convention.
but Tony Blair and Bush kill, what, 1 million? No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
No
actually
Oh
problem.
yeah.
noted.
Yeah.
That's not right, is it? It just ain't.
No.
Society's fucking screwed there, man. Screwed.
I can't stand that Blair. Oh God, I'm so
No.
embarrassed that I even voted for him. I hate it. I hate to have to
You know
admit
what?
that.
If you hadn't took us to war, if you hadn't took us to war on bullshit, then I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't have a massive problem. Let's go, well, he got voted for, he's another politician. I'd think him of John Major or think him of Thatcher or thinking like that. I wouldn't have hatred for the man like I do today. Because he
No,
has got away
exactly.
with 1 million
Yeah.
fucking deaths. You know what I mean? My
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah.
And I hate that. That's just
I mean,
fucking out
I
of
can
order.
still see him now standing in the House of Commons saying, "Oh, they could hit Cyprus
Yeah.
with a rocket, you
Yeah.
know, and with aimed at our troops within 45 minutes." I can
Yeah.
hear
I
that.
remember
Like it was
everyone was
yesterday.
going on holiday, weren't they, to Cyprus at the
Yeah.
time? Fucking unbelievable. Scare the fucking
But
public.
I can't believe that she hasn't picked him up on that Soldier A thing. Wow, let's have another little peek.
Yeah. So
Everyone suddenly forgets about the arms of conflict, laws of armed conflict, and they say, "Oh, this is war. War is evil. Bad things happen in war."
No, he was arrested and he
was
you know,
fine, done, yeah.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
so
He
reactionary.
paid for
so-
what he did, so the fucking
Yeah.
shut his mouth.
Yeah.
And
They
she's
can argue
saying
about, they can
nothing.
argue about the sentence, can't they? Obviously, everyone can argue about the sentence given. We can say, oh, it's less, some say I want it more. You can argue about that, but the fact is, he was charged and
Yeah.
justice was served.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the man said it himself when he did the when he shot him.
Yeah,
goes,
he
"I
knew,
think I've-"
yeah, he
he knew what he'd done, but we don't know extenuating circumstances. We just don't know what the
No, we
hell
haven't got a
was
clue. You
going
weren't
on.
there. Exactly, we weren't there, man. I'm not going to say, I can try to
No.
put myself in his shoes. Could you, fuck? Bullets
No.
flying around, bombs going off? No, I doubt you could. You might think you can, but no. This
No,
ain't
you
Hollywood,
can't.
you know what I mean?
No. So let's have a listen.
No, we have laws for a reason. In war, violence is illegal in war. Yeah, you might not know this, but violence is only allowed when trying to achieve a military objective. So, for example, I want to advance my troops to take over a particular building in your city, but in order to get my troops to that location, I'm going to undergo fire from your defenses. So I'm allowed to engage in violence purely.
This is called the rules of engagement. It's not that violence is illegal in war. We have rules of engagement which you're meant to stick to.
Yeah.
This, and she's not questioning him. What?
She don't know. Because last time
She doesn't question him on anything, Wendy.
She's not questioning, because last time this happened, Wendy, you was with her. That's why.
Ah, right.
To achieve that objective.
Brains was you.
That,
she ain't got a clue.
It doesn't mean on my route to that building, I can just slaughter everyone that's in the way. Cats, dogs, donkeys, children.
Yeah, but the British Army didn't do that. Neither did the American Army.
You can't slaughter children.
No, he's saying that means that on the way I can't slaughter children, cats and dogs. But so does he? What is he saying? That the British Army would shoot a dog or a cat or a kid?
No, unbelievable.
It's not the British Army or the American Army that put suicide vests on children.
No.
Yeah.
So I would agree with you. It would be preferable if they took the people as prisoners and didn't have to kill innocent people. But unfortunately, the realities of war, okay, is that they do have an objective. They want to get rid of Hamas over there, and unfortunately, Hamas hide under hospitals and behind civilians.
Okay.
So there are going to be some casualties. Now, also, I'm not saying it's just, by the way, that innocents get killed. I feel terribly sorry for them. But also...
Yeah, of course you do.
We have to be
Suzanne,
honest.
I think you got a good point, Suzanne. Sorry, I was just mentioning in the comment. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But unfortunately as well, that war that got started in Israel was started by terrorism. It wasn't started by a declaration of war, right, we're going to war. It was started by terrorism. And because it was started by terrorism, the anger was even more than what it would have normally been.
Yeah. I understand exactly your sentiment on that and why you would think that. Now, the question I'll ask you is, how do you know that there was terrorism on that day?
What?
So how we know is because there wasn't a big declaration of war worldwide.
What?
You see, if Hamas had stepped up and said,
what did she
we want this to happen by such
arms of conflict, laws of armed conflict, and they say, oh, this is war. War is evil. Bad things happen in war. No, we have laws for a reason. In war,
it wasn't a big declaration of war worldwide.
She's saying there was a big declaration of war worldwide.
No, she said there wasn't.
Okay.
Press the J button on the keyboard. It will skip back 10 seconds.
Oh, thank you. Right.
You see, if Hamas had stepped up and said, we want this to happen by such and such date, or we are going to go to war, and declared it as a war. Yeah. Then.
But Hamas did step up.
It would have been a proper war, but it wasn't.
Okay.
They didn't give any forewarning. Now,
and what did they do? What was the crime they committed?
Oh my God!
They went into where people were having a festival.
Gets even
and
worse,
they murdered
Wendy.
people and raped them, and then they went home to home.
Now,
and
what you just said there, yeah. So you're saying that people were raped, murdered. Did you also hear about women's breasts getting cut off and playing football with the breasts? Did you hear that story?
No, I never heard about that.
And hanging babies on washing lines, and all of these stories.
I've not heard about any of them stories. I've heard, I've heard that they went in, they killed people, they raped people, they slit people's throats, they went from house to house, they murdered people, they took hostages, and it was done in the most god-awful way. And I don't believe that there's any justification for what they did on that day.
Okay, so did you know this? All of these claims were published in the New York Times, and the reporter who published these claims she was not actually a reporter. She was hired the same week.
What?
She was an Israeli military
propagandist.
officer. They hired her in the New York Times. She had no journalism experience. She's not even American. She's Israeli. And she's the one who posted this article. There's a journalist called Dan Cohen who's uncovered what's going on. You've got the Haaretz newspaper as well. They've all interviewed a lot of these victims, and they've found that Israel was using something called the Hannibal Directive, where they shot their own people. They fired tank munitions at their own people, and they used Apache helicopters to kill their own people. All of those burned bodies that we hear about, they were killed by Israelis. As for the other hundreds of people that we're told were killed by that group, there's been no independent verification of those claims. None.
Why is she not interrupting him here? Why
this
is she?
This is a conspiracy, and she loves them, doesn't she?
Why is she not just saying, "All right, you got to shut up now because you're talking rubbish"? You know this.
Well, I've not heard it all yet. She might well do that. We can have our fingers crossed. We can have our fingers crossed.
That's what I said.
Like the Grenfell Tower. The Grenfell fire.
No, that's
Until
what I
now,
said, Danny.
not a single person has been charged with negligence or whatever to cause that fire, because they have to go through a whole process of verifying the facts of what actually happened. Israel didn't do any of that. They just told us some information. We've accepted it and said, yeah, look what this group did. The reality is that there's a clip of I've got a clip on my channel. I think it's from Channel 4 News, which there was an interview with an Israeli woman who this group from Palestine, they came in over the border, they entered her home. She had a child with her. They came into her house and they said, listen, don't worry, we're not going to hurt you because we're Muslims. We're not allowed to hurt you as Muslims.
Right,
and they asked permission to have a banana from the kitchen table.
Oh,
they asked her permission. That interview is well known. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I allow that. Right, so for the sake of the audience, I need to say this. The reason that I allow reactionary to talk is because I want to hear what his mindset believes. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
It doesn't mean I agree with what he's saying.
Okay.
My style is not to just pull him up and say, no, shut him down. I want to hear what it is he believes.
Okay.
So
Wendy.
Yes, I've got
that
my
was,
head.
That was where I said to her, don't let him get away with saying this.
So
and
that's
that was why she turned around and she said that. She didn't address it correctly.
Well done, Babs.
But yeah.
Good.
Do you know what I mean? It's unbelievable. She didn't even pull him up on it. Unbelievable.
That's not her style, as she just said.
Yeah,
not
you
her
should
style.
leave.
Not her style.
No,
No, more like
pushback. But I want.
You're doing a good job.
I can give you the link, Smiler. It doesn't mean that he's not going to get pushback off of me, but I want to give him the room to express what it is he believes. Doesn't mean I agree. So
yeah, and what I'm saying is not even my own research. I'm just saying what Jewish journalists have concluded.
Right. So what I would say to you is this: that there's always going to be outliers that are going to exaggerate things to try to get sympathies on both sides. Okay. So I've not heard these stories that are being pushed in America.
Right. Okay. She's gone completely. She's gone completely fucking nuts as far as I'm concerned. Right. So we've had Boris Johnson go over there and he's seen it. Right. You had Douglas Murray, who was over there 2 days after, I think, and has been there ever since. Right.
You've got the footage of them flying in using the
footage. Yeah. You've got the people of Hamas saying, yes, we did it, blah, blah, blah.
Mayor Toosey went over there as well.
Mayor Toosey, forgot about him. Yeah, he went over there. He was disgusted with what he saw. And she sat there going, oh, you're going to have outliners. No, he should have been put right in his place after he finished. She should have said, you're talking rubbish. Show me the evidence. I don't want to hear about so-called Muslims going into a Jewish house and asking for a fucking banana.
She could have pulled up that footage of them going in on them stupid planes, whether they were fucking microlight things. She could have pulled that footage and go explain that then.
So are we to take it then? If the if going by what reactionary said, if the Israelis bombed their own people, that means that the Palestinians are bombing their own people. Then you see, we can all go down those stupid lines if you want
Exactly.
to.
Exactly.
9/11 was an inside job. 7/7
Yeah.
we bombed ourselves. It's all the same conspiracy shit.
Fucking those people do my fucking head in.
Yeah, they do, Bab. I didn't realize that she.
Second point that I want to say is that
Yeah.
we're not Americans. We're British
What?
people,
So-
and I'm
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about the people that are on my streets and the cohesion that's on my streets.
What? Hang on. He's just denied the whole of October the 7th.
Yeah.
And she's saying, well,
She sorts her
I'm
streets
not,
out.
we're not America. I'm just worried about my streets.
My street. Okay,
Yeah.
What, is that Benefit Street, Dukes? You listening? Is that Benefit Street?
I mean, is this for real? Literally, is this for bloody real?
Yeah. I think it's just. I think I just.
Look,
I
she
was.
did say. Look, she did say she doesn't agree, and she did say it's not her style. So that's it.
No.
I
Yeah,
know,
but
you know
this,
better than I do, so I'll leave it there.
this was before.
Not her style. What to correct somebody?
Yeah, wait a minute.
Roast him, yeah.
Hang on.
So-
So she said all that, and then he came out with denying the whole of October the 7th, and she said, "Well, there are outliers in some places, and we're not American, and I'm worried about my streets."
Yeah, what about my own street? oh, Jesus Christ! Why is her street something like that? Is it like Gaza? I'm not quite sure. You know what I mean? Fucking hell.
Yeah. I don't want to see Jewish people going onto a train and people screaming and shouting abuse at them any more than if I see a Muslim woman with a small child sitting on a train. I don't want to see them having abuse screamed and shouted at them either. Okay?
Yeah, I agree
Because
with everything you said. Everything.
Right.
I fully
Right.
agree.
I think that's
So-
pretty fucking obvious.
Also, I would
Stupid
say that we can't really sit down and analyse the rights and wrongs and whether there was war crimes or not until the war's over, unfortunately, because
Hang on.
that's
Wait a
just
minute.
Hang on, your mate's just denied that it all happened.
As she
So-
forgot, he's just denied it.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously.
This is what happens when you don't know what you're talking about, right? So she's more interested in her own opinion on what she wants than truly listen to what this idiot reactionary is saying.
That's what I found when I listened to them for that little bit. I found that exactly.
Two egos clashing together. No, what the other one isn't listening to the other one. They just
No.
want to say their own bullshit, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, and she's just let him sit on her panel and deny that all those people, 1,400 people, got slaughtered on October the 7th without any comeback.
No, nothing other than she's worried about her
Her
street.
fucking streets. It's unbelievable. It seriously is unbelievable.
She's scared. She doesn't like to go back at people. Honest to God, this is ridiculous.
never going to get to the full truth. We can't
Oh,
go by
right,
hearsay
okay.
and everything else without proper testimony, without people being under duress, without people.
What if you were prime minister? What would you have done in that situation?
In what situation? I would have waged
So
war.
you're the prime minister of the UK, right? And you see that Israel has just declared war on that whole concentration camp of Gaza. What would you do at that point?
Right. So when you use the word concentration camp, you're trying to be emotive. I don't see it as a concentration camp. People choose
These
to
are the
go.
words of Jimmy Carter.
A lot-
The largest open air prison. Tony
Again,
Blair
we're not
called it that as well.
Americans. Again, we're
Yeah.
not Americans. We don't see things the way the Americans do. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So what I would say is this, that when you have a bunch of terrorists that go in, and I think it was up to 1,000 people that they actually slaughtered.
It was actually 1,400.
Including babies, and there's footage. I mean, because of social media times, there is now more evidence of what really goes on during the brutality of war and these kind of situations. It becomes very, very emotive. And hi, Smiler.
Oh God, Smiley
So
comes in now.
we do know that those people were killed. We do know that it was Muslims that did
We
a
don't
lot
know.
of.
No,
We
no, that's the
do.
thing, we don't.
We,
No, we
okay,
don't.
reactionary. I'm going to tell you
Here we
how
go.
I believe we do know.
All right.
Because we saw them, you know, in their trucks, going around with the women on the back of the trucks. We see people calling out for Allah on the back of those trucks and stuff when they were doing it. We see them, holding their arms in the air and shouting with praise and everything else to do with their religion as they did it.
None of that you mentioned is seeing them commit murder. We've not seen that.
The
Seen
youngest
somebody
person to die was 12 years old. Up until they started bombing the hospitals. And the youngest person who died was called Leo Hastroni.
That's not
and
true.
Israeli officials used her in propaganda and falsely claiming that she was burned alive by Hamas.
Right, so the youngest person to die was a 9-month-old baby.
Yep.
Israeli baby. And I do believe the baby, I might be wrong here, Babs, Cassie, but I do believe the baby was indeed a hostage. And they got the baby back, but the baby died.
Yeah,
Something like
I think
that.
I think that must be the story that I've heard.
So I don't know who this Smiler is.
What do they want? Do they want GoPro footage on people's chests or something of this shit happening?
Yeah, I think that's what they want. And they all think they talk like they were there.
Yeah.
Where I'd rather talk and say to other people, like I just have to Cassie in that, I think I might be right, or am I wrong? I don't get people like this. They didn't have to live through it. They didn't lose loved ones. Why are they so cold and calculated about that date? Why is it like it doesn't matter?
It's fucking Just, I don't know. It's as if they've got no empathy, no emotion, nothing.
Yeah.
Weird. Very weird.
This Smiler.
Yeah.
Danny, do you remember me asking you the other day if you'd heard of a Smiler?
Yeah, I've never heard of him. No, I don't recognise his voice
either. This is him.
Right, I don't recognise his voice either at all. I don't recognise him.
Yeah, I don't think. I think he's somebody that we know.
Yeah, I want to listen to his voice. I recognise that.
Yes,
voice,
I recognise his voice as well.
I reckon he's putting a bit of a change on his voice. You reckon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's have a listen. See
yeah.
if we can guess.
Naftali Bennett, who was the former prime minister, also alleged that she was murdered just because she was Jewish.
I'd say it's Andy straight away, public annoyance, but I don't think it is him.
Yes, that was exactly what I was thinking. He sounds just like Andy.
He
but
does
I know
sound very
it's not
similar.
him.
I can't disagree with that. He does sound similar, definitely.
But that wouldn't be Andy. That wouldn't be Andy.
I can't. I mean, I don't know Andy very well, but I can't. What I know of him, he's not going to do that. He's
not going to say that. No.
Yeah. He uses his own voice, I think.
This is all the paperwork that was submitted to the ICJ.
Yeah.
They were using the Hannibal Directive. It's a big investigation. Officers, Israeli officers, the 6 girls.
Now, he's talking, right? This is what pisses me off. He's talking like it's fact.
Yeah, like he was there. Yeah.
Like he knows. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's just letting him.
Yeah.
That were in the original tank, the first tank that arrived at the kibbutz.
Yeah.
They were told to shoot everything and anything that moved, and then they said, and the girl said, but the civilians, it doesn't matter, shoot everybody, it's the Hannibal Directive. So they were told to push down the gate and go in and shoot everything. Now, even the stuff that Elon Musk was looking at, where he went and there was photographs of him looking into the crib, and you see the ammunition in the crib, that's machine gun ammunition from the tanks, not from an AK-47. The round size and the clip size.
I'll take it then that this Smiler, hang on. I've spoken to him before. Now, when I spoke to him, he pretended he was drunk, and he pretended he was in the Royal Horse Guards, the Blues and Two Royal. Yeah. And I said to him, what is the Geneva Convention? And I asked him another question, and he couldn't answer me. And I said, you're a liar. You're a drunk. And this was on Vellies. I remember it very well. Right. Okay. So now I know who he is. He's an idiot. Right.
Right. For starters, they went in with AKs. They didn't go in with machine guns. They didn't have machine guns. Yeah. So the machine gun ammunition that Elon Musk was looking at is the ammunition from the tanks, because there's a different clip size.
Right. I remember it now. He was very anti-Jewish. He was all for Palestine. And I asked him about the rules of engagement, and he didn't have a clue what I was talking about. But you got to remember, he was in the Royal Military Horse Guards, right? But he didn't have a clue about any of these words.
It's belt fed, and it's a different size ammunition. So all that was debunked.
No, it wasn't.
I don't know, but I know that because I don't know all the details of all this. You're coming with new information.
I can.
Right, Jupiter. What my advice to you is, when you let somebody on who comes out with such rubbish,
ask
right?
for evidence. Yeah.
Ask for the evidence, Jupiter, and also maybe, I don't know, quickly have a look on Google and try and find something that corroborates what he's saying. You will not find it.
That's another thing. She used a laptop or a phone. I'm not quite sure.
Laptop.
Right. So there's no excuse. She can just flip the phone out and Google it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No reason.
Many a time when I'm on a panel or my own panel and someone says something, I go straight away to look for it.
Yeah, I've always got a tab open. I've got a Google tab right now, ready to go.
Yeah.
I've always got one open.
But I know who this guy is, and he ran off Vellies because I caught him out.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a complete idiot.
Yeah, I don't actually like.
Yeah, put it in the back chat, and then we'll have a look at what you're looking at in a minute. So, but what I will say is this, right? In any country, you can't have people just flying over. I mean, don't get me wrong. I too sit here and wonder how they managed to get across that border, right? It was meant to be the most
you can watch it.
in
Is
the
she
world.
that stupid?
So I do have my questions there. I'm not completely blind.
Well, they knew 2 weeks before.
But
no.
what I would say is you can't have people just coming in, slaughtering 1,000 people, and the government doing nothing. You would have expected a response. I would have respected.
Again, that's the claim, right? And nothing's been established as actually happening.
But we saw all the footage reaction. We can't and demonization of victims. Well, I think that's what they did with Jewish people as well. I don't think that's on one side. Via false testimonies and allegations against Palestinians. Well, I think that's the same against Jews. So these narratives are ostensibly
going to be noisy. So
no, that's fine. What I might do is, I'll be around at 9, I reckon, reactionary, because I'd like you to come on. I'd like Danny Roscoe to come on and speak with you. Because he's never met you, and you are, I hate to say extreme Muslim, but you are sort of like a very pious Muslim, and you
fuck off, Jupiter. He's an extremist.
Yep.
He is exactly what Sunak was talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean, guy? He is what Sunak was talking about.
Yeah, totally agree.
You what, Danny?
You need to drown me then. I was taking a sip of coffee when you went, fuck off, Jupiter. I spat it out and nearly fucking choked. It's very rare you swear, that's why I laughed.
I know, it's just sometimes it annoys me to the point I got to swear because that is ridiculous what I've just been listening to. I can't believe, thanks Babs for saying about that.
Yeah.
I can't believe that she let him get away with saying such abhorrent stuff and the fact it was all lies. Then Smiler comes on and talks like he was literally there. He was there looking into the prams and they weren't AK-4 or whatever, they was machine guns. How does he know? He wasn't there.
And saying that the Israelis were like killed their own people.
Yeah, the Israelis.
What a fucking load of crap.
Yeah, this is what really, really gets on my nerves. And she should have hammered it home to him, not gone looking for fun. All right, so she brought up I don't know, I think it was a newspaper article, but I noticed in her voice, right, she's got no passion. No passion, which tells me she has no empathy for either side.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying there? She's got there was no argumentative attitude in her where she'd sit and argue for hours about whether someone is English or not, right? And yet with this, when you're talking about people being slaughtered in a field for doing nothing more than having was it what was it?
A rave, a disco,
a rave, a rave, and going into kibbutzes and murdering families and babies. She allows them to say it. Does she think people want to hear that crap?
So what is she on about? Like she's got questions about how they got in
right,
that
she
way.
doesn't well, because the fences apparently are so like, sensitive. She doesn't understand how they could paraglide over the fence. Now I do. I'm not fucking stupid. I understand if you're going to paraglide, you're not going to touch the fucking fence.
No, you're going to go over it, aren't
There's video
you?
footage on Twitter. If you go look for it, type it in. There's video footage of them paragliding. There's video footage of the diggers driving through the fucking fences so quickly and that. And then the
I've seen
motorbikes
all
are
of
gone.
that, yeah.
And off they go on the motorbikes and that. And off they go down and they kill and they fucking injure, they maim and everyone. And that's what they do. It's I can't even understand it's even a debate. That ain't. It's fucking the evidence is all there to see it.
I know. And
not even
yet
a
she
debate.
sit there with reactionary, who is an extremist. There's no doubt about it. He always has been. That's why when you mentioned him, Babs, I thought, I'm going to have a listen to this because I know what he's like.
Yeah.
And he came out with exactly what I knew he'd come out with. And she just sat there going, well,
Yeah.
our streets, our streets.
I was horrified when she didn't even want to pull him up about it. It was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's why I said to her in the chat, I said to her, Jupiter, do not let him get away with saying this. And that's why she said because she read my comment and then she's like, yeah, well.
Now, do you think, now I know for a fact he would not have sat quietly if she tried to say to him, well, I think it's the Palestinians that are killing the Palestinians. He would not have sat there quietly, right? He'd have gone off on one.
Yeah, of course he would have. Yeah, of course he would have.
Yeah.
Jupiter, you really shouldn't talk about subjects you know nothing about. And then, relying on the likes of Danny Roscoe to turn up, who, well, literally knows nothing either. I mean, it's quite unbelievable. And to say that you're trying to figure out how they got over the fence.
Right, guys, I'm going to leave you to it. I'm
Yeah,
going to
no,
love you and leave you. All right?
All right, yeah.
Yeah, good night, Wendy. Good night,
Bob.
Danny.
Bye.
Take care, both of you.
Thanks for that, Bob.
Later,
Thank you,
Speak
love.
to you soon. Yeah.
Bye, love.
Okay, bye.
Bye. I finally just noticed Cassie's gone. I didn't notice that until now.
Yeah, where's she gone then?
I didn't know she dropped out.
But But you know, Danny, it just shows the idiocy of some people, doesn't it? I mean,
to me, I'm not shocked because she loves that crap. She loves like fucking all sorts of conspiracy. She'll be into that straight away. I'd go on long before she'd actually think, you know what, they got a good point. Maybe it didn't happen. She'll be a fishing idiot, man.
Oh my God, do you think?
Well, she's that way inclined, isn't she? You know what I mean? She really is. She hangs around with enough people, then people think that way. She ends up being that way. She got no.
Yeah.
I've got my own decision. I've got my own nuances. I've got my own. Yeah, no, you haven't. You have not. You might think you have, but you haven't, Jukes. You really haven't, man. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
She thinks was it Sunak, not Anunnaki and all that Planet X bollocks.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean, Dell was involved, so there you go. We'll follow that for a bit.
Oh well, he only has to turn up. He only has to turn up and I switch her off. I'm being honest. Even when he used to be on that Wake Up UK, oh no,
he's an idiot. Conspiratard, completely conspirating. Anything conspiratard going, he'll go for it. He loves it.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and he talks too fast as well.
Yeah, because you can't put him then. You can't stop him.
No.
He's learned that shit.
But that Smiler guy, he's an evil, nasty little sod. He really is, Danny.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously, he might have been in the army or he might have been looking up to guns. I mean, it's easy to go and research it. You can easily research the guns and find out.
Of course you can. I mean, you know, you get these barmy fanatics that look up everything to do with the army. Things you don't even want to know about. They look it up.
Yeah, you go into their house and the whole bedroom's full of fucking army.
Yeah.
Army yeah. Oh, it's Cassie now.
Sorry about that, guys. I had a phone call.
Right.
There you was. I didn't know she dropped out until about 2 minutes ago. Well,
no wonder you were confused then, Cassie. I understand it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me.
Well, that guy, the reactionary, he's an extremist. He is what Sunak was talking about. Last night. He's the kind of person Sunak was talking about.
Yeah.
He's an extremist. He always has been. He always will be. And I can't believe she sat there and let him get away with saying all that. There was no passion, was there? There was nothing. It was like, this is like...
it was flat.
Yes, yeah.
To me, I just looked at it as, you know what, you're just building up there for another show tomorrow. That's all, and then tomorrow you'll probably try and build up another show the next day, and that's what you're going to do. That's because you're going to get views. I think, Jenny, I got told, I don't know how true it is, when Dopey Dave's channel was getting aired on stream live, and I was watching it, and Kelly was on there getting arse roasted, and I was laughing my head off. When I was watching that, I seen someone in the chat say, Jupiter's only, so it said Gas Planet's only got 20 views or something, 22 views or something. She's not doing very well. And I was like, and Dave had like 80 or something at the time.
Look, it's always going to happen, and it's something you've got to get used to if you're going to run a panel, right?
Yeah.
If somewhere else there's drama going on, your views are going to drop.
Yep. Simple as that.
Because they're going to go to where the drama is. Yeah.
Yep.
I've personally stopped doing that because I can't be bothered with it anymore. I can't be bothered with the screaming and the shit. Because when I'm on Velly, I can't even hear what they're talking about.
Yeah, you can't hear what everyone's saying. Everyone's talking at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. Oh, Victoria West, hi Vic, how you doing? I didn't see that.
You know, like I was on there one night, and there was Luke and Khan and some other guys people were on there, and I literally couldn't understand a word that was being said, and I was on the panel. I didn't know what was being said.
Yeah.
Hi, Kim. Because
I have to book. When that happens, I just have to leave. I think, you know what, I'll just leave you all to it. I can't even hear what anyone's saying. See you later. Just leave them to it.
But last night, Rishi Sunak's speech did not go down well with the religion of peace people.
No, it didn't. It didn't. Good. I suppose that's good. I suppose in my eyes, good.
Yeah, it's good, but to me, it showed us how one-sided they think. You know,
it shows how behind the times are as well, doesn't it? Because we all said this coming fucking 10 years ago. You're like, where you lot been? Fucking hell. I don't know. I think it's all for votes. I do think it's for votes. Purposely, he's been.
It's votes, love, but
told,
it's also
told.
fear. It's fear too. The fear of the, like I said, the fucking lunatics taking over the asylum. That's what it is because Galloway got that little place in Rochdale.
Yeah.
They're seeing other, lunatics coming in. And I can see it happening myself if they don't do something. But maybe it's too late.
I think it's too late because at the end of the day, they've used social media for the following. They don't need to go down demoing in fucking London to have the following, do they?
No.
You know what I mean? So I think they've gone maybe looking at the wrong thing. The demos in London ain't going to stop this lot growing.
Imagine Paul Golding standing for, MP in somewhere and he wins it.
Yeah, imagine that.
It only has to happen once or twice.
Yeah, then Jada Franson, Northern Ireland, isn't she?
Yeah, and Jada Franson, she knows how to talk. She knows how things are. Imagine people voting for her and she gets a seat in there.
Exactly.
Is that what we've come to? And we haven't done it. The general public haven't done it. It's the government that's done it. And I'm not having Sunak blame us. It's not us. We haven't done it. Wouldn't you say that's right?
Yeah, it is Morris. So I was just checking that's Chrissy Morris. It is his channel. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just too late. As you just said, Ben, I think it's way too late. I mean, he's coming out now and saying it because he knows he's going to probably get a few more people who aren't social media wise and watching what's going on. Let's just take my mum and dad for example. Let's just take them for a perfect example, right? And go, you know what? Because they don't see what's going on really in the social media side of things. So they're going to go, oh well done, Rishi Sunak. Yeah, well, okay, you might get my vote. You might get my vote because of that. So it's just for votes, isn't it? It's just to please a few people that might be thinking, oh, good. You know what I mean? I think that's all it's for, personally.
Yeah, but I personally can't forgive the Conservatives or Labour for what they've done in the last 13 years. Both parties.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what they tell us now. I don't believe them. So.
No, neither do I.
No. Fucking word. All that speech he's give out, and I heard on your channel earlier. Yeah, all right, carry on. I don't really believe what you're saying.
Yeah, that's why I went through it a bit slowly because I just thought, no, there's something else behind it, and it's fear that they're going to get booted out for the lunatics. Yep.
Because if they lose some seats, they lose the votes as well, don't they? See, so if they lose votes, there's a chance that Lib Dems could get it or Labour could get it because they lose these seats. So that's what they're scared of. You're dead right. They are scared of losing them seats. Right?
Well, look what happened with Theresa May when she had to go cap in hand to the Ulster, whatever
that's right.
they are.
Yeah. Forgot about that. Yeah, she had to.
I think she had to pay them £1 billion or something stupid like that for them to make up the majority.
Yeah, mad. Fucking mad. Have you got right wing and left wing over in Canada, Cassie? Is that the same shit over there? You got hard right wingers and left wingers?
Yeah, we do. And then we have down the middle the NDP, which is the New Democrat Party, but they're the minority government and they back Trudeau.
Oh, right. Fucking hell. Okay.
Are they the ones that keep bringing him? I mean, when's your next general election?
November.
Okay.
Right. Who's running? So is Trudeau running again?
Trudeau's running. His name for the New Democrat Party, his name is Jasmeet Singh.
Yeah.
And then there's on Conservatives, there's Pierre Poilievre, and he seems to me to be the most sensible. He's concentrating on housing, food, groceries, things like that.
Well, that's what you
the
want,
inflation, the cost of living.
Yeah, that's what you want. Yeah.
Do you know what it is for a 1-bedroom apartment here?
No.
$2,500.
What, a month?
A month.
Oh my God.
What?
Yes.
What?
Now you tell me how a single person, unless you are a doctor or a dentist or someone with, I know teachers that have second jobs so they can afford an apartment. $2,500. If you would like a 2-bedroom flat, it's $2,800.
So how much is like a 3-bed house with a garage and all a full of garden and that? What? How much is that?
$400,000.
To buy?
Yes.
And if you wanted to rent one, how much? That'd be like $5,000 a month then, $5,000 a month.
Yeah, it'd be about $5,000 a month.
No, man, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
So that guy you mentioned, he sounds like he's French Canadian, is he?
He is French.
Yeah.
But he has no accent or anything.
No, I mean he's like but his name Pierre what?
Pierre Paulev.
Yeah, that's a proper French name, isn't it?
And he's very basic roots. In fact, he calls Justin Trudeau out on his bullshit all the time at the House of Speakers. You know, he said, we have Canadians here who can barely put food on the table, who didn't have a Christmas. And where was our Prime Minister? Can you please explain to me why it cost you $90,000 to go on Christmas holiday and you stayed with friends?
Oh,
you said.
Fucking hell. Oh, well, I like him already. Good who he is, but I like that.
Yeah, he pulls them up all the time.
That Trudeau guy seems to have been Prime Minister of your country forever. I mean, he just seems to have been Prime Minister forever.
Trudeau, yes. This is his 3rd time.
Right. That's why.
3rd time. And it was his dad before him. There was two prime ministers in between, but it was his dad before him. And fun fact, Wendy, Matthew Perry's mother was the press secretary for Pierre Trudeau, Justin's dad. So there's a fun fact. But it started with Pierre Trudeau and immigration when he started saying Europeans need not apply.
Oh.
Fucking hell.
So he set the tone for who should be immigrated into Canada.
Oh, and Europeans need not apply.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
Which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Rishi Sunak hasn't said a word about that. I'd be kicking right off, I would. Going, what? You what? I'd be going straight to the old king and going, you better sort your fucking boys out over there, mate. What's going on? Fucking hell. Suggest you take a flight out there after you sort your
anyone. Well, no one needs to apply here. They just need to get on a boat, don't they?
Yeah.
Go across.
I say we can just go. I'm pretty sure we can just go, can't we? I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know you can't stay here forever. I know that. I can't just go there and say, fuck, I'm living here today and that's it. But we haven't got to worry about all that sort of shit. We just fucking, it's part of the empire, isn't it? It's part of the Commonwealth and that bollocks.
It's part of not the empire, the Commonwealth. Yeah.
Oh, same
Our
thing,
Queen's still head of state. Who's on your money, Cassie?
The Queen.
Yes, I thought it was. I didn't want to say it was when I wasn't 100% sure.
The Queen.
Yeah.
There you go then. Says it all.
So that'll gradually get phased out like ours, and it'll become King Charles.
Well, I don't want to go there. It's going to cost fucking what, $5,000 a fucking house or whatever. I ain't doing that.
Yeah, the cost of living over here is unbelievable, you guys. The cost of living over here is unbelievable. That's why people can't pay their electric. That's why they can't put food on the table. Tell me the single mother that can pay for her electric and her heat and her water bill and pay her rent.
Yeah.
That's mad. Is that always been that price, or is it just inflation gone sky last few years or something? What's happened there?
It's been the last 8 years since Justin Trudeau's been in power.
Oh, he's good for the country then.
Well, it sounds like he's going to break that country if it's not broken already.
Yeah.
It's going to break it, like.
He's running it into the ground. He needed money. He printed $600 million and sent it to Ukraine.
What? What? He just printed it?
Yeah, he just printed it. He just printed it, which makes the value of the dollar go
the value of
down.
the Canadian dollar go right down again. Fuck you know.
When you print money like that, it just makes the value of the dollar go down.
Yeah. Wow. So he's got no sense of economics or business either. He's just a fucking
None.
puppet.
You know, Danny, he is a substitute drama teacher, part-time snowboard instructor. Those were his credentials for running this country. At least his dad was smart. I will give him that. His dad was very smart. This guy has nothing going on between his ears except the wind.
Fucking hell. Bit like Biden then, really, isn't he? I suppose.
He has no qualifications to be running a country.
Wow.
That's the problem, isn't it? When people say, "Oh, you know, what I mean, get these people out." Yeah, we can get all these people out, but who are you going to put in fucking place? You got to have someone who knows what they're doing. You can't just put any dickhead in there. You know what I mean? It sounds like.
Well, and he knows who to bring over, so they'll vote for him.
Yeah.
He knows. He knows who to let in immigrant-wise, so they'll vote for
in the same
him.
boat we're in then. You're waiting for a party who are going to be refreshing and change everything, really.
Yes.
To vote for, sort of thing. Yeah. That's where we're sitting in this country, really, waiting for some sort of party to rise up so we can at least vote for them.
Yeah. I think Pierre Poilievre has a good chance of might winning this year. Otherwise, I don't know what we're going to do, guys. I really don't.
You sound like us.
Yeah. It's the old generation. I mean, because when I was younger, my parents and my grannies and nan and granddads all used to whinge about how the globe's changed and it's not like it used to be. And sometimes I feel like, am I like them now? Am I the same?
No, there has been drastic changes in this country. Drastic things I've never seen before or thought I would see. Just even when it comes to protesting, what we see in London, I didn't think we'd ever see that.
No, nor me. Especially the kettling and all that shit. You're like, what are you doing? Just let them fucking walk, man. Crack on. Walk where you want. Crack on.
No, but the ferocity of these protesters, the pure hatred that they
hate the government, hate everything.
Oh, my prime minister marches with Black Lives Matter. He joined their marches.
Lovely.
Oh my god.
Oh, lovely.
Didn't he interview us? Didn't he support a Nazi as well, or something, a neo-Nazi or something as well? I've seen that reported somewhere, you know.
I'm trying to think of what that guy's name was.
Yeah,
he did.
Nazi, wasn't he? Yeah,
he did. I'm trying to remember what that guy's name was, but yes, he did. He admires the communism of China.
Yeah.
And he said that straight out.
Yeah.
He said that straight out. I admire the communism of China.
What, he likes the working hours they do, probably. You know, 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably likes that.
He said it straight out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like we're in deep shit here.
Yeah,
just like you guys are in deep shit over there.
Yeah, we're all.
And America's in deep shit as well with fucking Biden in charge. He's useless.
Oh.
So to be honest, if Russia and China and Iran wanted to get together, now's the, if you're listening, boys, but now's the fucking time because we're a mess.
Well, the only good thing about Russia and China is both countries depend on economics to survive.
Yeah, on each other.
And I think that's the only thing that's stopping them, to be quite honest.
Yeah, possibly. They make a lot of money out of us, don't they? So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at the state of I mean, Russia through the Cold War, it was terrible what they, the ordinary Russian people had to go through. And China would just collapse if they had to not be able to export all their cheap goods.
Oh, they would, yeah. Count on that.
When you pick something up and they're made in China.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Taiwan
like
or
everything.
Yeah, it's true, that.
Everything's made in China.
Hang on, I'm just
But
trying to
Biden,
find.
they're in no better shape over there with Biden. The man can hardly climb a set of stairs.
You know what day it is, does he? He ain't got a clue what he is, man.
No.
He's living on pills, he is. Living on fucking pills.
I can't believe, I can't believe he's going to try and even run again.
Yeah, when again, that's so funny. You're like, come on, mate.
He's in his 80s.
He was
He's in his 80s.
He's 80.
For God's sake.
Fuck's sake.
He's
man.
80. I mean, come on.
Retire gracefully. Get the fuck. Come on, man. But I think Trump will win anyway. He'll win hands down, I think, this time again.
Right, so this is a video that Athena says is worth watching. So it's not very, well, it is long, but we skip through it, see what she's got to say. I don't know what this woman's up to, but she's up to something.
And why haven't we already?
Well, unfortunately, I was a lone voice advocating that around the cabinet table.
It just seems that the Conservative Party can't actually implement their policies.
You, the government, previous governments have failed to do it. Why? Why is it happening? We keep voting, we keep saying we want to deal with this issue, nothing happens. Why?
Ultimately, there has been a political resistance. The Prime Minister, didn't want to engage in this subject and didn't want to
Why not?
deliver on it. You'd have to ask him. There was a huge mountain of resistance that I was met with from the Treasury itself.
Don't give me a politician's answer, because we both know your party, to put it very bluntly, is screwed. Do you think you will win the next election?
Well, I have said already, on the evidence before us, we are heading for electoral oblivion. Things can change. There is still time, and that is why it is my constant plea to the Prime Minister to change course.
Suella, welcome to the show. You're a recent and former Home Secretary.
Who thinks she's gonna when he does call a general election? I won't be surprised if she. No, let me get this right now, Danny. Help me out here.
Yeah.
So before the general election, they've got
manifesto.
No, that's right. No, but she'd be able to run, won't she?
Yeah. She puts if she gets enough votes within the party, they she'll put her be a candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what her goal is, to be quite honest.
It wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
She'll get all the London.
So the stuff we want to talk to about
is
is very much the stuff that was in your brief when you were in that job. Before we do, I just thought it'd be interesting to find out a little bit about who you are. Because the way politics seems to happen nowadays is sort of this person pops up and suddenly the media tells you who they are, and then that's the opinion everyone has. Who are you? How did you get here?
Well, I'm a mum. First and foremost, I have 2 young children. I'm someone who has been originally born in London, in Wembley. My parents are from Mauritius and Kenya. They came here in the 1960s with pretty much nothing. And we are proud patriots, very proud and grateful to be part of this great country, this amazing country, what Britain's done for the world. And I grew up in London. I worked as a barrister for a decade, the self-employed bar. And then I was elected to Parliament as a Conservative MP for the wonderful constituency of Fareham in Hampshire. And so it's probably coming up to 9 years that I've been a Conservative politician.
It's interesting that you
can't play that. It's
copyrighted.
It's monetized. It's monetized. I'll get a copyright strike on that. But it's interesting. I'll watch it in my own time.
Did she come across? Who's watched that before then? I mean, Victoria said she watched it. I think Athena's watched it.
Oh, it might have been Victoria's link. Yeah,
Right,
Athena's saying it's Victoria's link.
So, Victoria, what was your take on her? How she come across? Do you think she'd be a good prime minister or a shit one? Basically, what do you think?
Well, all we've ever seen about Miss Braverman, well, Mrs. Braverman there, is everything she wanted to do seemed to be stopped by Sunak.
Yeah, that's what she was saying, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know much about her, to be honest. But she did something in. What did she get kicked? She got asked. Is it leave? Did she leave, or she got resigned, or sacked, or what happened to her? She did something out of order, didn't she? I can't think what it is, man.
Yeah. They blamed her for Tommy Robinson going down to the cenotaph.
Oh, that was it. That was it. Yes, that was it. That was it. Yeah. That was it. I couldn't think what it was.
So there's a video here of somebody. Leo Lowdown. Oh, Leo's Lowdown. It's not long. It's what Athena put in the chat. Let's have a look.
ECHR. What the fuck's ECHR? I ain't got through those.
We Were Warned, it's called. So,
right, okay.
I've been accused of Islamophobia for drawing attention to this, and Lee is even being investigated for hate crime by London's Mayor Sadiq Khan's police force for suggesting that Sadiq is under the thumb of Islamists. Although I've never understood the revulsion at Islamophobia. Nobody gives people with arachnophobia a hard time for their fear, and all spiders do is sometimes pop out around the house. If Osama bin Laden came scuttling out from under your couch, it's much more understandable if you don't like it. I think it's the legs. They're so hairy. And the fact that he's been dead for 13 years, of course. But people are going to want to swipe him away with a rolled up newspaper. And if you turned on the bathroom light and found Abu Hamza in your bath, unable to get out because his hooks don't give him any purchase on the shiny sides, you'd probably soil your underpants yourself. How are you going to get a bit of card under him, jiggle him up into a pint glass and put him in the garden? He's 21 stone. I can understand people being apprehensive. And spiders just want to make a little web and catch some flies. They haven't been mobbing the streets of our cities, calling for jihad and the destruction of Israel. They haven't desecrated war memorials or sent teachers into hiding for displaying cartoons. Spiders haven't attacked authors for blasphemy or flown planes into skyscrapers or tried to establish a global caliphate or detonated bombs at pop concerts. Islamists are definitely a bit scarier than spiders. So what is Islamophobia? Since the Hamas attacks of October the 7th, large increases in Islamophobia have been recorded. Muslims have reported being afraid to leave the house, which raises the concern. If Muslims feel afraid to leave the house, who's going to make Jews feel afraid to leave the house? I'm joking. I'm not suggesting all Muslims are anti-Semitic. According to a survey by the Anti-Defamation League, only 54% of British Muslims have anti-Semitic values. A mere 54%, hardly any. The Guardian has the apparently shocking revelation that more than half of Tories think that Islam is a threat to the British way of life, while only 18% believe the two are compatible. But is this hatred? Or aren't these just valid concerns? You wouldn't chastise an Aztec for being concerned about the impact of Spanish immigration on the Tenochtitlan way of life. And it's not as if these views are based on prejudice. They're based on an observable fact of what's happened in countries such as Lebanon when Islamists became predominant, and of what's happened in this country already. Terror attacks, hate preachers, huge marches calling for jihad, grooming gangs that target children seen as fair game because they're infidels, blasphemous authors assaulted, teachers sent into hiding, and films cancelled. I can't help but feel that if Islamists were dealt with and the threats, violence, anti-Semitism, censorship and bigotry ended, Islamophobia would evaporate too. There's been a very visible rise of Islamism in the UK, thrown into stark relief by the anti-Israel marches. Suddenly, the mainstream palliatives for mass immigration, multiculturalism is great, we'll all get along somehow, nummy food, went out the window as we saw huge mobs running rampant, desecrating war memorials and generally behaving in a manner that's not very British. Well, unless we've gone to watch a football game in a French town. But in our defence, at least we're drunk when we're chucking those white plastic chairs into the town fountain. But the numbers have always been there and the data. The UK's intelligence agency, MI5, have 43,000 extremists on their watch list, and 90,000 are Islamist terror suspects. And as this graph shows, there are far more Islamist prisoners than right-wing prisoners. Instead of tackling it at its roots, authorities turn a blind eye to Islamism and even fund it, as they did when the government funded the notorious Green Lane Mosque in Birmingham that hosted hate preachers. And any organisation set up to tackle terrorism inevitably gets dragged to the left by the progressive cabal that runs the public services in the UK. Prevent have been criticised for being too focused on right-wing extremists, who mainly seem to be autistic teenagers who've downloaded some banned document from the dark web, or a guy putting up stickers instead of being a credible threat to British society. I believe we should protect people, protect Muslims from hatred, but allow ideas to be criticised. Islamophobia is a word invented to stop scrutiny or criticism of Islam by making it akin to racism or xenophobia, which is an easy link, as Islam didn't originate in Britain. But Islam isn't a race, it's a religion. And Islamism is a political ideology that wants to reorder society and government according to religious laws. It's been tried in places like Iran and Afghanistan, and I strongly recommend that progressives visit those countries in a gay pride bikini before pointing the finger and shrieking, Islamophobia! The great Christopher Hitchens warned us that the term Islamophobia would be used to stop scrutiny or criticism and hold open the gates of Western civilization. And now we're watching it happen in real time. Here he is.
This is very urgent business, ladies and gentlemen. I beseech you. Resist it while you still can, and before the right to complain is taken away from you, which will be the next thing. You will be told you can't complain because you're Islamophobic.
Wow.
Absolute genius, that Hitchens was. I used to listen to him all the time. Brilliant, that guy was.
Oh my God.
Sadly passed away now, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. But that video is spot on, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Wow. And there's Christopher Hitchens.
Yeah, years ago that was, years ago.
2009, he said that video was.
Yeah. And we're watching that.
Wow. See how it also makes you wonder about Enoch Powell's words as well.
Yeah, as harsh as they were, it turned out not to be far off. You think, look at me, man. You were right in some aspects of what's gone on. Definitely. Can't deny it.
Remember, it was without firing a bullet.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that last video there, thank you, Athena, because it was all put together, that Scottish guy. He was reminding people, if you like, what they'd been up to, all the atrocities. And then Christopher Hitchens at the end in 2009 saying that.
Yeah.
And here we are,
Stephen Fry said it as well about Islam. There's quite a few people who have come out and said that years and years ago. Said, look, Islam should be stepped away from, warned about. You know what I mean? Be aware.
And now it's would they be able to say it today? Do you think? Well, yeah, they should be able.
They should be able to say it, shouldn't they? But they wouldn't be able to. They would. They'd get cancelled out, wouldn't they? Well, look what happened to that. Some footballer said something not so long back, didn't he? He's been cancelled out now already. He's fucking.
Oh, but
it's like everyone have their own free speech, man.
But if someone come on the telly and was like, "Oh, Christianity this, Christianity that," I'd sit and laugh at them. Like, oh, yeah, all right, then start giggling. Yeah. Why do they get so het up over it?
Yeah, they get offended. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it's your fault you got offended, not mine. That's how I look at it.
Honestly, but I think Christianity is more solid, and everything about it, and that is why we don't get offended when we see nutty pictures of Jesus. It is why people like me love watching The Life of Brian.
Yeah. Love that.
Because we just don't get offended. We're not made that way. We're not made to get offended like that. I mean, I found out the other day that they did actually ban The Life of Brian when it first came out.
Yeah, it was banned at first, wasn't it?
Yeah. As blasphemy, if you like.
Yeah. It wasn't being racist. It was against the church, wasn't it? So they were the church kicked off. it was mocking God, so it was blasphemy, wasn't it? Yeah.
But they had to lift it because it actually nowhere in that movie, right, The Life of Brian, is Jesus Christ mentioned.
No, no.
It's always some guy called Brian.
Yeah. And that's the piss take.
Well, it was about 30 years ago. My uncle and aunt, they lived in a city that was about 2 hours away from me. There's about 1.5 million people in it. And they had taken a taxi, and they were talking amongst themselves and whatever. And the taxi driver said to them, in 50 years, we will own your country.
Oh.
And this was 30 years ago.
Yeah, see? Yeah. Well, each government successively just let it happen. Let it
Yeah.
happen.
We have to be like Poland. They've let in 0 refugees.
You can't blame them, Poo-Pot. You know,
Refugees. And their president or prime minister or whatever he is said, there won't be one. I won't let in one. And you can call me a bigot, and you can call me anti-Islamic, and you can call me whatever you like, but I won't let in one.
Well, that's up to him. It's his country. Well, you know what I mean? And considering their history, I mean, they've been invaded so many times. Yeah, good for them. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Right, guys, I'm going to shut this down now because I'm off to bed.
All right, Wendy. You
Thanks
guys have
for
a good night,
joining.
Danny, Wendy.
You too, darling. Have a good
Yeah,
day.
take care.
All right, love. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, love. Night, Danny.
Good night, folks. See you later. See you later.
Yeah, see you later, love.
See you later, Mum.
So good night, Kim. Good night, Victoria. Good night, Athena. I haven't seen Mandy tonight. She must be at the pub. Oh, hello, Dan. Good night, Danny West. Yes, Danny West. Yes. Oh, good night, Helen, love. See you all again very soon. Good night.